Hello, Internet! This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9004 with your host, Sneaky fucking Devil. And we're just gonna get right on into it tonight, because I really don't have any stories to tell. I really haven't pissed anyone off recently. Didn't get any bans from anywhere.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm trying, Max.
Should we step it up, Sneaky? Come on. This isn't like
I
you.
will say, though, I have been effectively stalked recently. So
how did you get stalked?
On Catfish's server, there's this dipshit named Red something. I really didn't pay attention to the rest of his name. I'm gonna be real with you. There's this guy named Red, and for the past 6 months, he has asked 5,001 different variations of how do I exterminate the people I don't like and get rid of the political ideologies I dislike.
Well, you can look to history's greatest monsters for that if you so choose.
It's funny you say that because I that's literally what I replied to him, because I'm not being the best representative for how he's phrasing it, because like I said, it's 5,001 variations, but he was particularly explicit in how he wanted them removed one day.
Oh, good.
And so I responded with, well, that's easy. Get ready to join the history books next to Stalin and Hitler.
Yeah. Tutorials right there.
And what did he say?
Okay.
I see.
You know what?
Oh, God.
That is exactly the amount of attention that deserves.
just the okay, dude. Whatever you say.
No, not okay, dude. Just okay.
Alright,
Get ready to join history's greatest monsters.
Alright,
it's like, wait, why are you okay with this? Why would you ever?
He's been stalking me recently, and by stalking I mean like he's basically like private pinging me and like going into my DMs.
I'm sorry, Sneaky. Hold on. I gotta do something that's gonna make you feel old.
Yeah.
Dendy is growing a beard.
I'm growing a beard.
Please stop talking.
So is Dendy.
So am I. Your point.
Anyway, Dendy's older than me. Anyway, so as I was saying, so he comes into my DMs one day, and he's like,
just slides on in.
Yeah, slides right into my DMs. He's like, "How are you today?"
I'm gonna go ahead and post that red flag.
Do you want me to post that political video you posted to Catfish's server on the Yu-Gi-Oh server?
Sneaky.
What?
Sneaky.
I have several questions.
Picking up Kohais who aren't good people. I'm pretty sure this is the second or third time you told me about people like this.
1, 2, 3,
Stop
4,
it.
5, 6, at least the 7th.
Okay, but the ones you
Why
told
is
me
there
about, not the ones
seven?
I know of. Like, oh my god.
Look, I
Why
can't
are you
help
like
it.
this?
They just
Why
naturally,
7?
they just
God, if you were
naturally come
fucking-
to me.
God, if you were a billionaire, you'd somehow accidentally fund an army for the wrong reasons.
I totally would.
Okay, look. All I'm
Reasons, you
saying
mean.
is that the next time we hear about like a Jonestown massacre, Sneaky will have somehow accidentally
I'm
perpetuated
somehow
it.
in the fucking manifesto.
Sneaky
I
accident
believe Sneaky Devil.
Jimmy and this.
I believe
On
Sneaky
the
Devil
army.
helped me to recreate this massacre to the good of Allah.
But so anyway,
And then you're just like,
I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, buddy, you can do whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm not on that server with you. I don't give a shit. You know, whatever. He's like, all right,
Not my
care.
server.
He's like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, okay, you do that. I need to know more about political theory. Okay, why are you telling me? What should I say? I don't fucking know, dude. Why are you DMing me this?
If you want political theory, go look up people like Sargon of Akkad or some shit. Don't go to this.
I was just like, straight up just like, okay, all right, fine, you know, go read Starship Troopers. It answers a lot of the questions you have. Like, the book actually is good. Like, it's actually a really good political theory.
The thing is, Sneaky is 100% correct. It absolutely... Starship Troopers is actually a great book about political theory.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that the movie does a complete disservice, but I was like, go fucking read Starship
What would you
Troopers.
say? And then there's
Where should I buy Starship Troopers from? I don't know, man. Amazon? I don't want to go to Amazon. Where should I go? I don't know. Use a search engine?
Have you considered using a
like,
search
bruh.
fucking engine?
I was gonna say,
Please.
Sneaky. Okay, Sneaky. Listen, the next time he asks you that to get him out of your hair, there's this like space anime. Was it Record of the Lodos War? I think.
No. I know the anime. It's Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
What?
That's got political theory, and it'll keep him out of your hair for at least a month.
That's like 100+ episodes.
Yeah, it's 100
it's
plus
space
episodes.
opera.
It is very good, but it is 100 plus episodes.
It is a proper space opera.
I'm pretty sure that's
some
being
other
approved, so
great
yeah.
snippets from this kid is
Not
when
more.
the whole President Harris thing was getting spread about, which I find hilarious, by the way. When the whole President Harris thing was getting spread around, he was like, "How can we stop the Democrats from nominating Harris as the next president?" And I'm like, "You can't. That's actually part of the president's powers to."
Curious.
We have to stop them. I mean, no.
Well, there
Why
is
does
one
he
option.
think you have any control over this?
Just like.
Nicky, what stories have
I
you
am
been spreading?
flattered by your faith in me, but I am.
I love how.
No, this
Sneaky...
isn't faith in you. This is faith in your stupidity and your hubris. Let's not get this confused.
My here was I didn't tell any fucking stories. Like, look, everyone on Catfish's server thinks I'm some sort of super extremist that wants to purge an entire demographic of people. Okay, I don't know. Like,
Well, I mean, they're not that wrong.
Yeah, Sneaky,
Only kinda.
They're. I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, he doesn't
Go
want
on.
to genocide an entire like. It's
No,
not an
no.
entire like singular group. It's multiple groups.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Like,
It's-
arguably worse.
He's
It's-
not doing it for the
There's
reasons you
tons.
would, Arn. He just hates everyone.
Yeah,
Sneaky,
look,
I think
there's
you
a-
need to give them your discourse on trailer park people, like you gave to me a couple years back.
Oh, the fucking white trash, man. Oh, man. I don't know.
Well, it'll probably go a long way to showing them that you actually don't give a fuck about who you are. If you're human, you hate them.
That's fair.
You have a handful of humans you tolerate.
But unfortunately, like the majority of that server doesn't listen to me either. Like half the admins are the total fucking chuds, and they just believe that like their word is therefore a moral law, and that if you disagree with them by even just saying how exactly are you going to implement this moral law of yours, you are therefore haram and must be purged.
You are the Antichrist, Sneaky.
Welcome to China.
Yeah.
Would you like your citizen score now or later?
I'll take it right now so I can shit on it.
Okay. Well,
Your credit score has been lowered.
unfortunately, Sneaky, honestly, you'd be a first in history because you'd end up with a negative score before even becoming a part of that country.
You know, it's actually highly
Bro,
likely.
You just posted cringe. You're gonna lose credit score.
You just posted cringe IRL.
It's not credit score, knows it. We're talking about the citizen score.
Social credit.
Let's see.
Yeah, the one that determines if you're useful or not for society.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Gray's not here, so I can't make him cringe with that. Oh, but we do have Shadow here, so I'll go find some Fate Stay Night fan fiction
Oh,
to
yes,
make him
excellent.
die inside
Please do.
with.
Excellent.
Yeah, here we go.
You can't make me die inside.
Oh yes, we can.
Oh, you
You-
want to
you
do the
can
Fate
kill
Stay
him
Night
already,
Worm
Dad.
fanfic? Got it.
I'm already dead.
Don't worry.
I thought that was
this
Lupine.
this podcast has a talent for finding that
You know,
little bit of
I'm
that wasn't quite
actually
hit yet.
really considering emailing Nux Taco and being like, "Yo, hey man, I hear you are a fine connoisseur of cringe. Can I interest you in?" He has sex with his sister at the age of 3, but it's okay because he works out, so he has the body of a 5-year-old.
Listen.
Wait, I thought there was
Nux,
just Mother.
Nux strikes me as the kind of guy that would be up for a cringe podcast like this.
Oh
He'd
yeah.
probably also throw a lot of shade at everyone in this podcast
I would
for stupid
absolutely
shit.
get so much
Yeah.
shade. It'd be great.
I would make time out of any schedule to be on a podcast. If you get him on this podcast for episode, I will do whatever I need to make sure I'm here for it. Even if I'm stuck on a phone, muted.
God. I mean, like, I don't even need him on the podcast. If he just makes a fucking video about all these cringe fan fictions that we've found over the years, like, oh yes, and in this chapter you see the main character get raped by a 7-year-old. Note, the main character is 23.
You know what? As much as I try to repress a certain fan fiction, the one with the fissures, I'd really like to know his actual reaction to that.
I too would really like to see the descent into madness that is that fic being read. Just like, even if it's like he takes the fic and then goes to other popular people and makes them read that, I would fucking love that. Like, holy shit, just go gets fucking Melody to go read that.
Oh man.
No.
Oh
No.
man.
The poor girl, Sneaky. Jesus Christ.
It's a Snape.
I'm pretty sure that's like banned by the UN or something.
Snape times Harry Potter father son fic.
Please kill yourself.
Happened to the cool and unusual
Please
punishment.
kill yourself immediately. Please kill yourself immediately.
God, just if this was an AO3 fic, just reading the tags is just like, it's one of those memes where the music starts intensifying. Because with each tag that gets unveiled, it's just like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on in this story? Where it's like, starts off rape, furry, Snape times Harry, father-son relationship.
That's just one of those Discord memes where like they start revealing more and more of the conversation as the music starts ramping up. It's like, what is
exactly.
this?
It's like, this
So
is getting
loud.
so bad on so many levels.
Oh.
I'm really considering just sitting down and finding all of those fics, or making Isley find all the fics for me so that I can email him with all of those fics. Maybe I'll pick up some of those worm fics from what's his face? That popular worm author.
That don't tell me anything.
Was
Was it Wyvern?
Yeah,
No.
the guy who wrote Wyvern.
Yeah, what was his name?
Yeah, I'm blanking out on it right now, but yeah, he has an AO3 account. All of his good fanfics are on fanfiction.net. All of his would get banned from the Geneva Convention fanfics are on AO3. And it's shit like Taylor times Danny times Sophia, mind break, gangbang, ambush, quadruple amputee.
But why?
Oh no.
So
Why are they like this?
I found this all out because I was like reading all of his stories, and I finished reading all of his recent fanfiction.net stories up until his most recent ones, and I was like, oh, he has an AO3 account. I wonder, is it all crossbows or something?
That's who it was, I think. Ack? Isn't that him?
Yeah, Ack, yeah. And I was like, oh, he has an AO3 account. I'll go check out his AO3 account, see if there's anything else up there. And there was.
Oh no.
And it was just like, it was like 27 stories of that. Different variations of that. And I'm just like, why? That's a lot of incest.
God damn.
I'm glad he separates. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad he separates them, but why?
Fuck, that is a sentence I did not need to hear.
That's a lot of incest.
Sneaky Devil
I could
2021.
have gone my entire life never hearing that sentence. But because of
I
this
would-
podcast,
This podcast has ruined us all.
No, I'm fairly sure I was already ruined before this. It's real.
So anyway, this is a Hopebringer. I think we've covered this one before. It's possible. I don't think so, though. We might have linked it before.
Let me do the old check.
it sounds familiar, but I don't know why it would sound familiar. 'Cause
Oh, it
nope.
sounds familiar because
It has
C8
not been
linked it
covered.
before, but we haven't covered
Yeah.
Yeah.
Year and a bit ago.
it. Yeah.
Well, C8's here, so now we can blame him.
So this is our
Live.
famous,
Yeah.
famous friend and constant comedian, Dyslexic. We've covered his other stories before, and they've been absolutely horrific. And I really am not
Excellent.
expecting anything new here. But
That's
you
the
know,
trend.
this was published in 2019, so this is a little bit more recent than some of the other stuff we've covered from him. So you know, let's get into
That's
it.
probably not a good thing, honestly.
No, probably not.
That's real.
Plenty of
definitely not.
people get dragged into situations they really don't want to be in by random omnipotent beings. Well, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna actually do a genuine critique on this fic because I actually hate this a lot. I hate the whole random omnipotent being is why you suddenly ended up somewhere else. It's like just have weird shit happen. Okay.
Yeah, come on, just
yeah,
just
we
fucking do it.
don't need.
Just some random space creature that has ascended beyond the mortal plane noticed you, senpai, ooh woo, and decided to slap its tentacles together in a geometric formation, and now you're in an isekai harem protagonist.
By
It's
the
like-
power of the geomantic web, you are now a lizard man.
Skedaddle skadoodle, your dick is now a noodle. Also, by the way, you're part of the harem.
Yeah.
That sounds like another light novel fic. I was
might have
summoned
said
to
it
another
before,
world, into
but-
another harem.
God damn it.
I was
Yeah, whenever I see the
no, Max,
Rob's
it's
acronym,
more like
It's just Rob.
help.
Smash
I've
Bros.
been sent to another world, but I'm part of the harem instead.
That's like 5 different
Well,
light novels.
That's why I went with another harem, because they're actually coming from a different
Oh, they're
light novel
escaping
where they're
one
also
harem.
they're escaping one harem and falling into someone else's again.
I see.
Unfortunate.
Like finally, I escaped the. It's okay. Do you make it a male escaping a reverse harem, a female escaping a traditional, or do we go LGBT
I
with
say
it?
you have to go with the full trans representation for this one, and you make it a male escaping a harem that ends up as a female in a different harem.
Hey, now don't forget the xenogender people out there.
And they can be purged with the rest of them. We tolerate no
Based.
xenos here.
For the Emperor.
But very few get chosen by random omnipotent beings themselves for more than basic amusement. Ah yes, all-powerful beings of infinite power and knowledge definitely would choose a random mortal to do something they already know. So they can be amused by something they already know.
Funny.
I mean, I guess. Sure.
Normally, the point of it isn't that they know what's going to happen. It's I want to see what you do.
Yeah, but if
like-
you're all powerful, that means you're omniscient.
Well, no, not necessarily.
No, it does, because all powerful implies you have all power. And if you have all the powers, that means you know everything. Otherwise, you wouldn't be all powerful if you came across something you didn't know.
Yeah.
Mm,
Because that means you don't have that power.
Indeed.
If
power
you're
of
all
omnipotence.
powerful, you have the power to know whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yes.
I feel like that. Okay, I'm actually gonna look at some etymology here. Don't mind me.
No problem. You do that. I was unlucky enough to be one of them. Oh no.
Oh, all right, there you go. Sneaky.
Oh,
One of the
gotcha.
synonyms is. Actually, no. Omnipotent is ridiculous power. Hmm.
Now
Curious.
I'm in Worm with a mission
You know what?
to
I'm
save
gonna
the
blame
world.
fanfiction for you using all powerful like that. Because it
omnipotent?
it doesn't normally encompass stuff like that. That's why the synonym for it, almighty, is a little bit more specific.
Hmm.
So you're stretching the meaning, but that's
Actually,
sad.
that was how it was explained to me in CCD. So you can actually blame the
in what?
Methodist Church for that.
Why am I not surprised it was the Methodist Church?
Yeah, sounds about.
They're some of the nicest people, but like, they're kind of weird. Like from my Christian background, Methodist, they're nice people, but they got some weird stuff.
Yeah, more or less.
It's quicker to just say almighty, but I will give you this based on that. Yeah, you can go ahead and use that word. I don't like it, but you can use it.
Now I'm in Worm with a mission to save the world. Unfortunately, raw power isn't what works around here. Actually, you're wrong on both ends, author. So first off, Worm is already actually saved. Worm has ended, and it actually ended with a victory. Well, one might say a Pyrrhic victory. I would say not having your entire species, its history, and very existence completely erased from the fabric of reality, a victory.
Yeah, that's a
I
pretty big
suppose.
victory to me.
If that's at stake,
Listen,
yeah.
it is a Pyrrhic victory, but like, kind of
You didn't
outweighs
lose.
what would have happened if you lost.
Right, exactly. So it's
Like,
still a
that's-
victory.
That's the kind of thing. I guess that's the thing people tend to ignore about Pyrrhic victories. Is like, listen, it's true that you lost a lot, but you didn't lose everything.
30,000 hand consumed.
Like just because you win a Pyrrhic victory doesn't mean you can't win the war. It just means it might be harder.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be harder. But no, the point is that Worm ends with a Pyrrhic victory in total. The entities are dead, and the most of the worlds are still intact, and the populations are capable of being interdimensional refugees.
And also, some of the worlds are very confused by what occurred.
Yes, that too. Now, is it a great ending? Not really, but there's
Especially
really
since
not
Taylor
much you can do.
lives.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing: it was
Taylor
satisfying.
lives,
It was
therefore
actually
it's a bad ending.
it was a fairly satisfying ending, though.
Yeah.
There were a lot of open holes that he left. Like,
Right, but I wasn't talking about
loose
that. I was
ends.
talking more about the outcome of, like, how many people died, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Is that a great ending? No. But you really can't get a better ending, because in the end, what made them win was the entity killed himself. He committed
Bonsai.
suicide.
Oh yeah, he
And-
did.
Yeah. It was literally a situation in where Taylor was throwing every power in existence against him and still lost. But in the end, he saw his partner's corpse and was like, wow, time to join the statistics, and yeeted himself successfully.
Ah, yes, the 42%.
Oh, no, I was talking about the male suicide statistics, where they
Oh.
commit suicide
yeah.
far less often, but are drastically more successful in it.
Fair enough.
And, yeah, so
I'm gonna
Taylor
refrain
actually
from commenting.
didn't succeed in the end in terms of a personal victory. It's sort of like if Ganondorf, right at the end, as you were losing to him, was just like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of this battle. I'm just gonna, shoot myself and leave. See you in 100 years.
About that out.
I'm I'm kind of waiting 20 years down the line. We finally get that as an official game. It's like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. Let me sleep,
That's
please.
that's the FromSoft Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah,
Where you
I
can't
have
wait.
fight Ganondorf. I've come to fight you. Please just.
No, guys. He
Just
just
like
makes a Persona
I
3.
literally fixed this kingdom's problems. I have a wife and kids. My citizens actually love me. I haven't attacked anyone. I've been playing peaceful mode. Please, just leave.
Just like start fighting him. He doesn't want to fight you. Like the sad music. You kill
Nah,
him once, he
man,
gets up for phase 2, and then you just hear the piano notes.
Yeah, it's
You're
just
just
like
like, God damn it, FromSoft, stop making me care about Ganondorf.
It would definitely be more like a scenario of touching the egg sort of scenario. You track him down to this far off wasteland, and he's alone in this cave. And you show up at the cave, and he's like, "Oh, so you still want to do this? Very well."
Yeah.
Reluctantly gets his sword and stands up, and
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Dun, dun,
That's how you do it. Have have a fight at the mid game where like he doesn't actually fight back. He's just like, please, just go. And then he gives you the choice: to either go to the cave or be on your way.
pretty much, yeah. Sort of
like
like
the actual main enemy
how
would
what's
be
her
like
face?
Demise or something.
Sort of like how that one NPC was an optional enemy that if you went back to the ruined church post Gale, you could fight her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that bitch.
Yeah,
She was a cunt, anyways.
she was kind of a cunt, yeah.
Which one is that? Is that the one you had to fight with Patches, or no?
No, so
No.
post Gale, if you explored around the boss area post Gale,
No, it doesn't have to be post Gale.
well, you kind of really don't have an option because Gale kind of sprints at you.
It was
That
Well,
is
no,
true.
no.
it's just touching the egg.
You can trigger it if you go straight there before following the dude the first time.
Yeah. Also, yeah, you have to hit a certain threshold for Gale to activate. So you just touch the egg, and then you can just bamf out if you want, and then go back to the boss arena.
Guts does
anyway.
not like it when
She's
you
not
touch
happy
his
with you
things.
either way.
I mean, to be
she's-
fair, you kind of did like fast forward time until reality has annihilated itself.
Well, we don't know that. It's also entirely possible that reality was already annihilated and you just ripped the nice cloth off of it.
Honestly, I always sort of viewed it as more of a event horizon of a black hole sort of situation, in where that egg was the difference between you being on the outside edge of the event horizon and the inside edge of the event horizon.
It's entirely possible. We just don't know.
Because as we saw as we were traversing through the ruined city, everything was getting smushed into the city, just really slowly. But anyway, yeah. So this is Hopebringer, where the author also postulates that raw power won't solve the issue. Which, I mean, 50-50.
I'm sorry. You can't sit there and combine the worlds of Fate and Worm and then claim brute force won't work.
Yeah, I know of several creatures from Fate, and several powers from Fate, and several
The types
swords
would
from
like
Fate.
the types would like a word.
Like, I know of a lot of shit from Fate that could just be like, yeah, we're just going to impose our opinion of what death is upon you, and you're just gonna die. And you guys can't stop that.
There are some grand servants that would like to speak with you.
So yeah, I'm kind of really confused on that end. Also, the other bit of raw power not being useful is that actually, Sting was capable of harming the actual body of Zion.
Mm-hmm.
And so raw power is definitely capable of harming him.
Oh,
just,
right,
has to
yeah,
be-
because her power just brute force physics to get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, it basically tells dimensions to stop being layers and smushes it all into one layer. Sort of like when you're taking a photo edit and you're PNGing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the author already starts off his story being completely retarded, so I'm sure the rest of it's going to follow in an amazing fashion.
Yep, clearly.
I have a couple of similar ideas currently, but this one could be interesting. To who?
It could be.
To who? Mainly because the MC isn't OP. Sort of. Imagine
Let me
that's
just,
imagine
doubt.
that's your standard, right? That's your standard for an interesting main character, is that they aren't strong. Initially.
That's certainly a standard you can go with, I suppose.
I completely... Reality has layers. Onions have layers.
Crossbow bolts have points.
Sting. Not if I have anything to say about it. Basically. Chapter 1. I floated in a white voice.
A white voice,
What?
eh?
Oh yeah, that's what's
drinking.
written.
Get started
Nope.
on the drinking. Glug, glug, glug.
It's time to begin the drink.
Already going.
Is Sneaky
I'll drink
prorating
that,
his
bro.
drinking for this episode?
Man, look, man, okay, I want us to become super successful, not because I want to be successful, I do, sort of, but I want to be able to someday be so successful, I can put alcohol down as a business expense.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, arguably, you could do it now since you do make money.
yeah, you make a very, very small amount of money that you don't even have to legally report to the IRS from this podcast.
Based.
Sort of, in total, if I go over 10K, I do.
Yeah, but you won't.
But considering the fact
That's
that
kind of the point.
I've collectively for the past 3 years earned under 0 taxable dollars.
Yeah, it's
Gee.
The IRS doesn't really like me.
Oh, could I've seen this
yeah,
coming.
so right before we start on this story, I'm going to complain about another one I was reading last night. It really isn't important. It was a pretty garbage story. It was some cracky Legend of Zelda story. Everyone was out of character and whatnot, yada yada. But what
as is the
really
norm.
what really got my gump is that the author had these super short, like 600-word chapters, and he made an author's note edit of people have been complaining about how short my chapters are, so I've decided to fix this by no longer calling them chapters. They are now triangles.
Base. Triangles are the most stable of shapes.
I mean, how am I meant to react to this? Aside from you're an idiot.
Yeah, and I'm just like, bro, you have completely missed the complaint. Yeah. Anyway, so I floated in a white voice, unfeeling of anything.
What?
He unfelt everything. Interesting.
In a white voice?
In a white voice.
What is
Yes,
that?
we've already been over this, Arn.
Racist voices? Based?
Indeed. There was one MHA Persona cross in which the world of MHA and it was super in depth in regards to MHA. Well, it's a Persona
Then,
cross,
okay.
so it's already bad.
Persona.
No. Silence.
Stop talking immediately.
No.
So I have a question. If your stand is like a monkey and shit, isn't that like the representation of your soul or something?
Yeah. That means you buy
become
Jamie.
monkey.
Doesn't that
hold-
mean you're a furry?
Yeah, I guess.
Stop talking immediately.
Your soul is a furry.
He's not wrong.
Deep inside, you will always
Well,
be a
there
furry.
was that one.
Okay,
There
but
was
hold on a
that
minute,
one
Arn. What does
stand
that?
user that was
What
a
does that
monkey.
mean for the guy whose stand is a radio tower?
Oh no, see that's okay
Meat.
because that radio tower isn't his stand. It's actually a parasitic entity that
That's
latches
true.
onto the souls of
But
others.
Yeah.
then I suppose, what does it mean for the original guy's stand? like-
that got eaten
Oh, he was
by a radio
probably a
tower.
fucking leech.
Yes, I'm aware he got eaten by the radio tower, but like, his soul's true representation was an immortal parasitic radio tower.
That's kind of
I
based,
mean,
honestly.
I can list you a couple people that might have that. You know,
Look,
Parasite,
Alex
Loves
Jones,
Radio.
Let's just be real here. Part 4 was really fucking weird in some places.
Parasite, Loves Radio, constantly leeches off of other people.
Alex Jones?
Oh, I was gonna say nose hair, but yeah, I guess that works too.
Yeah. I just said Alex Jones. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right, Max, your job is to design Alex Jones's stand.
Why's that my job?
There wasn't anything to feel. No sensation of touch, no sound, no sense, and nothing but endless white to see. Technically speaking, oh, this is actually pretty hard. If you're in an absolute void, would there be only white or would there be only black? Because you technically can't see, period, because there's nothing for the light to reflect off of. Because you don't have eyes anymore. I guess if there's light, it would be all white. Philosophical question. Good luck and have fun. I hope you don't lose sanity. Don't worry, I'm drinking.
We never had any sanity to begin with. It's breather.
Who the fuck are you? Yeah, no, Caesar's been around here before.
We've
just
read a
bad at
couple.
remembering.
Well, I believe we've read a couple first chapters of his.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was
original
he was
fiction.
a very good sport about it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
takes notes.
May or may not have actually improved.
So, welcome, Caesar. We're going to be reading a story that has completely butchered the English language, and the author actually refuses to fix his mistakes, and he uses the excuse that he is dyslexic,
By the way,
so he doesn't
Pedro,
have to.
We would appreciate it if you would like not greet new people with "Who the fuck are you?"
Yes.
Yeah,
In
that'd
fact,
be
I'm
that
gonna
great.
go
would-
ahead and say, "Don't
Stronger
fucking
language
That would
treat me
also
like that
be...
again."
I don't know. Like
Yes.
all of us here, at least the ones in the states, we're all from states where that's a perfectly acceptable like greeting.
I mean, you aren't wrong, but I do like to do this thing called capturing a market.
And yet you let Arnon.
This
Curious.
Look, I have to make compromises, okay? This is...
No, no.
Market
Listen,
right.
Arn is a compromise we could do without.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but he's paying me money.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but
The
look,
power
I'm
of
still willing to
capitalism.
look. I'm willing to say it to his face. So
yeah.
Say what to his face?
Fuck you too.
he's a compromise we can do without.
Oh, okay.
But you won't.
Just said it.
Yeah, you could, but you won't. You're not gonna stop me.
I ultimately don't have control over that.
Hell, I am not
Exactly.
even sure if I
And
hell, wait.
you are literally only one step below me.
I'm
on
not even
my
sure
power.
Okay.
I had
A,
a
he
body
can unmute
right now.
himself. B,
You can take away his mod roll.
Then again,
Can we?
it's not that
Oh my
surprising. I didn't remember much, but I
Oh,
did
then.
know that before I came here, I had been on a plane that had experienced difficulties over the North Sea, which is for some reason lowercase.
Of
Wait.
course.
Did he
Was there a
really
lighthouse
lowercase?
near him too?
Yeah, he lowercase North Sea. Also, yes, you can remove his mod power. I just haven't done it because he hasn't abused the power. There's been
Now,
no reason to
I
remove
will
it.
say,
Nope,
I would like
there's no
to say,
reason
this
to.
has probably already been written before, but I kind of would like to see a story in the vein of the BioShock theme, but with Legend of Zelda, where there's
Right.
always, with because the whole Bioshock theme is that there's always a man, there's always a lighthouse, and there's always a girl. With the Legend of Zelda inspired theme being there's always a man, there's always a princess, and there's always a king.
I
I see.
suppose.
Or always a calamity.
Yeah, it's
Wind
always a
Waker,
calamity.
Wind
Isn't-
Waker Link finds
Isn't
a.
that canon?
We have
What?
always been at war with Oceania.
What's canon?
The whole,
Oh yeah, no, Nintendo
Yeah.
totally canonized that. Yeah, no, literally several hundred years in between some of the games, and they're just like, oh yeah, no, it's absolutely canon that Link just keeps reincarnating.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not reincarnating. It's his descendants.
No, in one of the timelines, it
Mm.
is reincarnation.
Okay,
Yeah.
one of the timelines. But in as far as I know, in 2 out of the 3 timelines, it is descendants.
Still pretty sketchy.
Now, Ganon is always constant. He appears
Well,
to always have
I
access
would
to
say,
his memories.
certainly at least in the Wind Waker branch of the timeline, it is descendants.
Yes, in certain branches it's descendants. Yeah, but no, Ganon is always aware of always being Ganon.
Yes.
And I think Zelda usually figures it out as well.
It's
Well,
iffy.
she's of wisdom, so it's
Yeah,
kind of
I
worrying
was
if
gonna
she
say,
didn't.
even if she didn't directly remember, she is kind of the paragon of wisdom. So,
Yeah, which honestly, the reincarnation stuff is always fun because they did something really fun in Hyrule Warriors with Linkle,
Mhm.
who's supposed to be female Link,
Yes,
which is she was raised on stories from her grandmother of the great hero Link, who
right.
she just happens to resemble a gender bent version of.
She just
Curious.
happens to.
Yup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
while actual
Linkle, that
Link is
was-
running around, Linkle has grown up believing that she is the next reincarnation of Link.
Wasn't Linkle originally a fan thing that Nintendo
Oh,
was just
yeah.
like, fuck it, yeah, let's go?
If I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
Nintendo does it all the
Yeah.
time. It's like, all right, we'll canonize it, but we will not acknowledge it directly.
They'll
We will
canonize
not
it and they'll send you a
acknowledge
cease
these
and desist
sheer
letter.
amounts of porn.
I mean,
They won't
Disney
acknowledge
just
it
like
either.
canonizes it.
I was gonna say, unlike Disney, which is like, hey, you joined the club? All right, come into this vault. You're
You
gonna
know
get
what?
scarred
Fuck
for
you.
life.
Decanonizes your female characters.
Oh,
Oh, Disney.
You can't behave.
We are going to promote powerful female characters by decanonizing all of the powerful female characters in the extended
Base.
universe.
Also,
All
we,
of the
we're,
cool-
deca-
we're just gonna
also,
throw
we're
all of the cool
decanonizing.
ones right
Oh,
out the window. Like,
Nope.
look,
gone.
there are some that I'm glad. Right, I'm glad Bastila is gone. On the
Oh,
other
God,
hand, we
fuck
lost
Bastila.
Satil. We lost Jano. We lost Mara.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mara, yeah.
We lost. You know who else we lost? We lost Jan Ors.
And is the Exile still canon?
Yes.
Oh.
It's tricky.
that means we
Revan-
also lost Warrior.
Revan stayed canon. Certain parts of Revan's story stayed canon. So the Exile's in limbo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just like certain parts of like Bane was they confirmed that Bane existed. They didn't confirm necessarily that Zana exists, which by the way, crying shame because there was a great character.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also technically decanonized
No,
Warrior
Pedro.
Mom Leia.
No, Pedro, we were already over this. There's 3 canon timelines. It goes Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess.
Skyward Sword is where everything starts.
Yeah, then Twilight Princess, then Majora's Mask, then Ocarina of Time, where it then splits off into 3 separate ones, and one of them's Wind Waker.
If need be, I'm pretty sure I still have the Hyrule Historia
Something
laying
like
around
that.
here somewhere,
Yeah,
or somewhere on my phone.
It's literally super close.
Nah, bro, I can pull up the math pat theory videos.
Fuck off.
No,
Matt
we
Pat.
don't
can
need the
pull
fucking
up-
Matt Pat.
Okay, no,
Oh.
sorry. It's Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, which I actually fucking loved Minish Cap.
Minish
I thought
Cap was dope.
that was an amazing usage of it. 4 swords. I didn't realize that was canon until now.
By the way, just a side
yeah,
note. Here we
base
go.
game.
I'm dropping the actual image in Fic 9K so that we can
Okay.
settle this forever.
And then it goes Ocarina of Time, which it then splits into 3. Link to the Past is the first one. That's the first timeline. Which is followed by Link's Awakening, and the other 2 original Zelda games, it looks like. And then the second timeline is Majora's Mask. Four
Into
Swords
Twilight
Adventures.
Princess, into Four Swords.
Yeah. Well, Four Swords Adventures. Four Swords.
Yes, Four Swords
was
Adventures.
Separate. And then the third one is Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Wind Waker are all the same. Oh.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
well, no. So Phantom Hourglass is actually one of the only direct sequels. It is a direct sequel to Wind Waker.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because you start on Tetra's boat.
Yeah. Shit.
No,
You know what actually threw me off about that is the different console.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna be real with you. Phantom Hourglass kind of sucks in that regard.
But I think that Phantom
I really didn't like
Hourglass.
it.
I think Phantom Hourglass does fine for what it does. I preferred some of the stuff Spirit Tracks did. I thought they went a little too complicated with the music, but like overall, I thought Spirit Tracks was more.
I thought
Listen
Spirit Tracks
here,
had
you.
more interesting ideas going on inside it, but honestly, in terms of enjoyment, Wind Waker was pretty high up, but both Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks are probably one of my lowest rated games in the Zelda series.
I would say, I mean, that's fair, but they're still, at least as far as they're still great games.
Link
for
to
me,
the
at least.
Past, Minish Cap, and Wind Waker. Yeah, well, Minish Cap, Link to the Past, then Wind Waker. Yeah, that's my top
Minish
3.
Cap is great.
Minish Cap was so good.
What would you say? And then, so the only problem is they haven't updated the timeline in a bit, but we already know where the other stuff fits. So,
Yeah. Did you hear they're actually re-releasing Skyward Sword?
yes, which I'm not sure how I feel.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping for a little bit of resurgence in the fanfiction market with the re-release of Skyward Sword, but at the same time, I
Please
kind of
no.
don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but so the whole point is, A Link Between Worlds is set at the end. Is at the end of the Currently, it's the end of the Decline of Hyrule and the Last Hero timeline.
Yeah, don't worry, Caesar. We figured it out. I'm only a little bit drunk and mildly retarded.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Breath of Wild merges all 3 timelines. Interesting.
Press X to doubt.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild does something weird, but
Not so much that it
What?
merges them. Okay, well, you get back to us on that one, fam. Okay.
I would say
the
the closest I've been able to
okay.
find is someone made their version of the updated Hyrule Historia, which just adds in.
Okay, no,
the two.
from what I'm getting here is that apparently Breath of the Wild, because it takes place 10,000 years later, is so far down the timeline of anything else related to Legend of Zelda that it could literally be at the end of any of them.
Yeah.
Okay,
specific.
I think
so
that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah, that
when I asked
makes
about
sense.
it on the time, I was like, whichever one you want.
yeah, I would
Like,
say
the
that
time
makes more
scale
sense.
is so fucking far, it doesn't even matter at this point.
I would say
Yeah,
Breath of the
all the-
Wild is the okay. We let you guys have your narrative dialogue tree. We're closing the diamond now.
I still want a Dark Souls style. Now, Breath of the Wild has got me wanting it now. Like, before I was like, meh. But then Breath of the Wild came out and I was like, I could really do with a Dark Souls Legend of Zelda game. Maybe
Well, I mean,
even like
it would be closing the circle.
maybe even like from the point of view of Ganon or something.
Oh, I mean, listen, that could be some fun.
Like, because, Ganon always comes back and he always remembers. So, it doesn't matter what your personal theory is on Link and Zelda are. You can have
Well, I
the
was
main
gonna say, I will
character
say
be
this,
Ganon. So he always comes back.
It's very, very it's super different for every Ganondorf when they like some Ganondorfs wake up and they're like, not this again.
Some Ganondorfs are wrapped up like a mummy, and their sheer hatred escapes from their seals and causes a giant god beast to rampage around.
That's true.
Based.
You know, sometimes I look at Ganondorf in Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, ah, shit, that's probably gonna be me.
Yeah.
Fucking sealed in some basement, wrapped like a mummy, with my sheer vitriol and hatred manifesting as a physical creature.
I would say, that being said, I do appreciate that Breath of the Wild is like, look, if you just want to run straight in and punch Ganon in the teeth, you can do that. You don't even have to get the Master Sword. Link can just chat up.
You will get fucking mulched, but yeah, you can do that.
No, I've seen people do it. Underwear, no hit. Stick only runs. I've seen it.
Like,
It takes forever.
I really do appreciate that, like, if you're like, okay, how much can we break this game? It's like, do you want to run in there naked with a stick? Maybe. Oh, do
Now,
it.
granted, that gets you the worst possible version of the ending, but...
Yeah.
Although, I'll say this. If I was Ganondorf, and after 100 years, Link walked in his boxers with a stick and beat me to death, I'd be like, you know what?
Also, you're like, didn't I kill you? Sup, bitch?
And Link came back 100 years later, beat me to death with a stick. I'd be like, okay, I have to, like, I'm just gonna nap until this particular Link dies of old age.
Honestly,
because he beat me without the what is he gonna do when he comes back with
honestly,
the sword?
I saw probably one of the most epic ways ever to get into the castle and basically skip everything. Is that someone did the whole stasis trick where they got a log and they got on top of the log and they stasis and they fucking rocketed off into the distance.
Yeah.
But then they used a whole bunch of Boba Coblin, how the fuck you...
Bokoblin.
Yeah,
Bokoblin, yep.
Bokoblin shields to then proceed to laser surf the rest of the way.
Wait.
Mwah.
Hang on.
Using the Guardian lasers.
Chef kiss.
So when
Wait.
they said all the Guardians turn to start firing at him, he's fucking laser surfing.
Wait, the lasers carry that kind of momentum and force?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no.
just
The
like,
lasers super bounce you.
If I
and
was
if you were
fucking
above them,
Ganondorf, I would absolutely shit myself if I was Ganondorf. And some fucking naked guy rides a wooden board with death lasers bouncing off of it into the castle to fight you with a stick.
And he looks suspiciously familiar
like
as he gets closer.
Yeah, wait, hold on a second. Oh, fucking come on!
you just hear like a redneck whooping the entire way in. Like Ganondorf's just sitting there. Yes, I have almost crushed Princess Zelda's
what's that
resistance.
song? The fucking banjo
Just hears the
song.
sound of. Just hears the continuous sound of Guardian lasers. Man,
Oh, God.
the residents are getting feisty out there. The Guardians have probably got it. Continues
where
hearing
is it? Where
lasers.
is it? Oh god, no! I know exactly the
lasers getting
song.
What the fuck is going on over there?
I know exactly the song. I just need to find it.
Don't make me come over there, Guardian. Is that Link? Is that Link on a sword riding the
here we
lasers?
go. I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it. So if it plays,
Oh god, what's he gonna play?
yes, here we go. Fucking, there you are, Ganondorf, and this just starts playing in the background.
What? I can't hear you.
Can you link that? My Southern blood requires this battle song.
Banjo intensifies.
Naughty the fuck.
The devil went down to Georgia.
What ho, Link? In order to defeat me for good, you must Play the banjo.
I'm pretty sure there's an old ass banjo cover of that song too.
Oh, that's great. I fucking love it. Dark Souls is always the end of a cycle. Yeah, exactly, dude. Like fucking Dark Souls, Ganondorf. It's the end of the cycle. It's the end of everything. And that's how fucking Nintendo closes out the series before they reboot it. I'm just saying, you know, like that would be fucking Nintendo, take notes. I'll even let you have this one for free.
Oh, don't worry, they won't pay you anything.
I know. They'll probably take
you
down
don't have to worry about
cease and
that.
desist letter.
Yeah, I'll probably get a fucking cease and desist letter. I've broken some NDA that I never signed.
Yep.
You have violated
Unfortunate.
the NAP. Our lawyers are coming for you. Please do not move.
Do not resist.
Please remain in your chair until the lawyers arrive.
Let's see. Guess the difficulties that were the... Wait, what the fuck? Guess the difficulties were the type that led to one-way trips straight down.
Yeah.
He's talking about the difficulties on the plane.
Yeah.
Okay. What if
I
the
suppose.
Endbringers were sealed like beasts in Naruto? I've already seen stories like that. They're pretty cringe, to be honest. They were done really poorly, but you know, what else could you expect?
You know, I'd be a lot more scared of living in the Naruto world if Endbringers were the norm for sealed beasts.
Oh boy.
I mean, aren't
Like
they?
sealed beasts are already a problem. Sealed beasts that say fuck physics entirely. I don't know about that
That's
one.
fair. That's fair. You know what? Actually, that's fair.
Like
I was
sealed.
oddly okay with that. Then again, I guess if I was dead, there really wasn't anything I could do about it. Well, Jack Racken begs to differ.
Jack Racken would like a word.
Jack Racken calls you a bitch. Because even when Jack Racken was no longer in existence, period, like didn't even actually exist anymore, de-existed entirely, never existed in the first place. It wasn't like he died. He just stopped ever having existed in the first place. Jack Racken still said, that's a bitch move, fuck that shit, and came back anyway.
Base.
Yeah, well, also I reread the manga. It's like also he came back because he wanted to help his student one last time.
Oh yeah, that too, but still. It's just like, I just punched
Still,
myself
listen,
back into reality. But you didn't exist anymore. How does that work?
No, Sneaky, that was Zenkichi. Zenkichi punched himself back into reality. Jack Racken just willed himself back.
Right.
And the best part is like what he did. It's like the best part about Jack Racken doesn't matter for what reason he did it. He did it. It's on record now.
Yes.
He has set a precedent.
Fuck you. Then again, I guess if I was dead, there really wasn't anything I could do about it. Good evening! I mean, that's really for a random omnipotent being, it's a really bad way to introduce yourself. Like, hey, hello! I will greet you with the denotation of the cycle of a planet that you are no longer on. Okay. Like, bro? Question mark? The
Maybe
voice came from everywhere
home.
and nowhere. Holy, I yelped. Although how I managed that without a mouth, I don't know. Who is there? Of course. One moment, please. The space twisted, and a figure appeared before me. If I had a tongue, I probably would have choked on it, considering I immediately recognized it, despite the fact that I wasn't a comic buff outside of interesting things. Ah, yes. I immediately recognized it, despite the fact that I shouldn't have recognized it. Also...
Makes sense to me.
Why are you shocked that you immediately recognized it? It's a random omnipotent being. It can probably read your thoughts and be like, alright, well, he considers this character a super powerful, unstoppable god, so I'll just look like that when I talk to him.
Who knows? Maybe the author thought about that in
yeah,
4 sentences.
You
One
could
can
certainly
hope.
think that, but I really doubt that's how it's going to play out.
One can hope.
Still, I recognize the girl before me as the aspect of death from the Marvel comics.
Oh,
Fuck's sake.
I'd have preferred
Sure.
DC.
I'd have preferred it if,
Still,
the
I
Hulk
never
had
would
been
prefer
expected
if
to
you
meet
stopped talking.
Death of the Endless. Aha, not what I was expecting, I admit. So am I really dead? Sort of, not really. You would be, but I pulled you here before you died. I frowned, or I tried to. I didn't have a face to frown with. What do you mean? You're death, right? Nope, said the girl, who apparently wasn't death. I just really like this form. Fucking called it. Also, why would you...
Woman.
there
Why would
are
you-
so many better forms for representations of death than what Marvel does, and Marvel even has like 4 or 5 different versions.
Yeah.
So
I-
actually,
I
wait,
am-
yeah, which
I'm
version?
I'm lost.
Which
He's
Marvel
calling it
version
Death
is she
of the
supposed to be?
Endless.
Yeah.
He's
One of them.
calling it Death of the Endless.
Yes.
The DC version.
Yes.
Amazing storytelling.
Yes.
Truly, I am so enthralled. Please continue your shit story,
I
author.
hope so.
Thank you.
Don't worry, I just like this form. My name is actually not something you can comprehend as a 3-dimensional being.
What?
Yes. A
I'm sorry,
fourth-dimensional
excuse
name.
me.
Curious.
So I will
Listen,
say...
even Mr. Mixelplix gave us the courtesy of a name. It's
Yeah.
hard to pronounce and a pain in the butt, but he gave it to us.
So
I mean,
And
even H.P.
canonically, it's
Lovecraft gave
pronounced
names to
differently in
his
every
eldritch
dimension.
abominations.
H.P. Lovecraft also gave it a very nice name to his cat.
yes,
We don't talk about the cat.
Please stop
No one
talking.
ever asked about the cat.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Maybe they should.
I don't think they will.
No.
My name is something you can pronounce, so just call me Agent. Wow.
I'm gonna call you
Amazing.
Susie, and you can't stop me.
Honestly,
call you a
I'm gonna
fucking
be
bitch.
real with you. If I ever ended up in a scenario like that, I hope whatever's out there is ready for me, and my
Nothing is going to
completely-
be ready for you.
my completely irreverent wit. Bow before me, mortal. I am an all-powerful being. Cool story, bro.
It
Tell
just
it
sighs like,
again.
yeah, that's about what I expected from you.
Call the other one.
Pull the other one. It's got bells and whistles.
Go ahead, do it.
Oh shit! I remember what uses that name. You're Rob. Yeah, that's right. I'm close enough to a Rob. I am
Oh yes,
a
my favorite Smash Brothers
hyper-dimensional,
character.
nigh omnipotent life form beyond understanding, and I indeed bring you here because I want to make a deal
Wait,
with a mortal
wait,
that cannot understand
Wait,
me.
they smash with you.
I'm sorry. Did the Rob just call themselves
A Rob.
nigh omnipotent?
Yes.
Then they're not all powerful.
just fucking shut up.
It's like
Max.
calling yourself
please.
Infinity -1.
Oh, you fuck off, Arn.
Hi,
Stop being so
yes, my
fucking
power
pedantic.
level is Infinity -1. It's like, so you're not infinite.
So this is elementary school level of I'm infinity times 2. It's like, well, that's not.
Wow. Yes.
Kids, why?
Actually, funny story about that is Kamina can actually be infinite +1.
Anyone can. It's
So
like,
he actually wins
it's
that
just-
argument.
It's just infinity. You fucking retard.
Yeah,
It's
but
literally
you
the
see,
same thing.
yeah, but you see, infinite +1 sounds cooler, so he makes it work because he's fucking Kamina.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's fair enough.
Meth.
No argument here.
So you're telling me it's not a 0% chance? Well, yes, technically speaking, it's not a 0% chance. So it might as well be 100% chance then. That is not how math works. If it's not 0, it's 100. God fucking
Kamina.
damn it, Kamina.
Kamina, no. Kamina, why are you like this? Oh, God.
Kamina, the spirit of XCOM players everywhere.
Kamina could make that 1% point blank shot work.
I mean, you all
Look,
fucking
all I'm
saw
gonna
that
say
one
is
XCOM game I streamed.
Kamina was on my side when it came time for me to get the clearing a ship with only one, clearing an alien craft on hard with only one soldier.
I mean, you guys
Ain't
fucking
no
saw that
cavalry
one game
coming,
I streamed of
motherfuckers. I don't
XCOM.
care.
You guys all saw the fucking witness me moment where 6 people shot at him and he proceeded to crit every last one of them and didn't die.
Ugh.
Fucking witness me. Oh god, good times. Anyway, so I'm gonna make you a deal. What kind of deal? I assume it's one that results in me getting dropped somewhere with ungodly, dangerous powers and a mission to save the world. Yep, pretty much. You are aware of everything that already happens during this kind of situation, so I'll just skip all the explanations. Do you want to do it? Well, sure, I don't want to die. What am I getting, and what are my powers, and where am I going? What? No questions about why I chose you? You're being beyond comprehension. I'm pretty sure I can't comprehend your reason. Well, that's fair enough. I guess.
That
Yeah, that is actually, credit where credit's due. That's fair enough.
You know what? Well,
he
but, yeah.
he made a point that has been made on this podcast that no other author has made in fics we've read for this. So
And acknowledge, yes. Yeah. pretty
he'll
much.
get a point.
A grudging point, but a point nonetheless.
Indeed.
The-
So, I'm afraid I
We
can't
need a
tell
gif
you.
of Snape just going, Gryffindor gets 1 point.
Exactly. Don't worry, I'll use some of our funds to go get a GIF of that made for us. And have that play. I'll
Okay,
put that on
so-
my power board.
Oh, I'm sure that already exists somewhere.
So,
Yeah.
how many points do they currently have? I know it's in the
One.
negative already, but
Oh,
they can't
here's the
actually
thing.
go negative.
We actually stopped taking points away. We just add them up from 0, so oftentimes people don't get any higher than maybe 10.
Or 0.
wait,
Or
it actually
0.
gets up to 10?
Yeah, no. They,
we've seen
see,
very
they
rare.
started.
before.
They start at 0, and we count up.
Yeah.
We assume trash.
But sometimes.
Unfortunately,
Yes,
we've
but
gone the way of the
giving
public
the 10
education system in America. We've lowered the standard.
Yes.
Oh,
Like
you're an
I said-
omnipotent being? I'm a follower of the guy who kills random omnipotent beings from the Shield Hero manga. Pleased to meet you.
I'm sorry, you what?
Yeah, that's where Shield Hero went. That's why I'm not, uber interested in the series.
I am so glad. I'm so glad that by the time we got to book 5, I was like, this is probably going nowhere. By the time we hit book 6, I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm afraid I can't tell you where you're going. Due to the rules I have to arbitrarily abide by, but I can tell you that your powers will be from one particular world. What world? The world you were reading before the plane exploded. I blinked, and then I remembered what I was watching.
Am I allowed to
Amazing.
quit now?
Yes.
No, see,
Be
but
gone.
I would say, Sneaky, that'd be great if they were like, no, the one you were reading.
Yeah, no,
But
the one
All
you
I
were
read
reading.
over some guy's shoulder was, but all I read was 2 passages of Twilight over some chick's. Oh no.
Oh no. I was gonna say,
Oh,
all I read
dear.
was To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh no.
I'm gonna say the N-word.
Stop.
That is not a superpower, Arn.
Actually, that is relevant to what I said, so I'll let it slide.
It
That's
is
the point.
relevant. Not a superpower.
I've gained the superpower of the N-word pass. Now no man can stop me.
Yeah, so I talked to the PRT. It turns out they were not a fan of the first, second, and third names I wanted to go with.
Really? I would have never guessed.
Arn can imagine them in his spare time.
Yes. H.P. Lovecraft's cat's name,
Yes, indeed.
perhaps.
What world? Oh my god, I'm getting a power from DXD? I spluttered. Why? Why not?
Honestly,
fair.
aside from Issei's some of Issei's stupid shit, it's a lot of useful powers in DXD.
I mean, honestly, I would really like the devil power from DXD, because even if I only had 1 point of mana, that's enough points of mana to start up a infinite circuit of generating mana.
Yes.
Because you see, I'll just plug the mana back into itself. and,
Ah, yes.
and generate infinite mana. It's a simple trick that the power companies don't want you to know. Just plug the extension cord back into itself.
Hmm.
I'm
The
upset
simple
at how
thing
many
the government
people
doesn't want you to
actually
know.
fall for that.
That's
The
great.
ducks
I
at the
love
park
it.
are free. You can just bring them home. I have
Ducks at the park
250
are
ducks.
free. It gives a wide variety of useful powers, and most of them would work rather well where I'll be sending you. Any preferences? I hesitated. This was a hell of an opportunity. I could become God. Fuck. I could become God. No, you can't become God. I am limited in what I can give you, so you won't be getting any power of gods from that world. Take
I have the
the
power of
devil
God and anime on
power,
my
you
side.
dipshit. Even so, that didn't change the fact that I could obtain stupid amounts of power if I desired. Power enough to kill gods. However, killing gods did not appeal to me.
You can fix literally every bad thing that happens in Worm by picking a god-slaying power.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can stop Leviathan showing up in Brockton Bay.
Pretty much, yeah.
You can prevent the tragedy in India with Behemoth.
Yeah.
Why would you,
You
though?
can tell Simurgh to go fuck itself when it hits Sydney.
Or fuck you.
But you don't
I mean,
want to kill a
Sydney
god.
kind of deserves it, let's be real here.
I have no idea what Sydney has done to earn that, so
It's Australian,
my brain
man.
just supplied me with probably the most cracky worm power one could ever acquire from a random omnipotent being.
uh-huh.
A Japanizing beam.
Oh, yes, based.
Smurg.
Oh,
You gotta become waifu.
Smurg can't destroy Sydney if Smurg is my waifu.
It's true.
okay, so if we're gonna go with that angle, obviously Behemoth now becomes your Kamina XP.
Of course.
What does Leviathan become? Is Leviathan just like the old friend?
Leviathan is the beach episode girl.
Hell yeah. Beach volleyball time.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have only one girl for beach volleyball during a beach episode. Like, come on, man.
Exactly.
Got two.
This sounds kind of funny. Someone go write it.
But wait, I was watching Boku no Pico.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. You have gained the superpower of automatically teleporting to your closest jail cell.
Policeman teleports behind you.
I remember seeing a living
You're
tribunal
already
in
dead.
Worm at one point, but I don't remember seeing the Beyonder. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That would be kind of funny too.
Yeah, there's... God, I just...
Japanizing
So where does-
beam shoots
where does-
Undersiders. They turn into the Power Rangers.
Was there ever an episode of Power Rangers where they went evil or they had evil clones made of them?
Oh,
Yes!
Max, there's like a million of those.
Yeah, at least once every season.
My favorite Power Ranger is the White Ranger.
A Beholder in Worm would be absolutely fucking annihilated. It's actually abusive. It wouldn't be that strong, honestly. Beholders would not be.
Well, if that's kind of the point.
Yeah. That...
Or someone with beholder
So-
powers. That's still not that
So
strong.
where does fate come into play here?
Yeah, I'm really actually confused about
Um,
this one.
When the author needs more waifus in his harem.
Yeah, I think that's actually going to be the angle. Like, I don't think I know Arn is saying.
I
this,
read
like,
ahead.
oh,
Grail
God.
system.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, why have the Grail system?
Well,
Then
you
this
see,
is a multi-cross.
I need the waifu. The author, probably. Me like biggie titty.
I need more waifus. No, that's exactly what the author was thinking when he was doing this. I need more waifus.
How many waifus should I cram
It's
into
a
this?
shame how, like, predictable that is.
You know what the
Because
saddest
then
thing
there'd be-
is?
What?
There is a story on Questionable Questing called Waifu Collector. And it's a story about a guy getting a power-up from a CYOA called the Waifu Collection Archive, or something like that.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of whole OP as fuck powers that are geared towards acquiring waifus. Like, you're an amazing, fantastic cook, and any woman that eats your food will fall in love with you because of how amazing you are at cooking. Shit like that, right?
Face.
It's not porn in it, unfortunately. But the saddest, this is what makes it so sad. The saddest part about this story is that the author has spent an entire character arc on each waifu the main character acquires. Like, full 60k-ish words per waifu.
Wow, that's
dedication.
kind of impressive.
This dude, writing a porn quest, is putting more effort into writing the harem than some of these fucking fanfic authors that don't even have porn in it.
Not
Don't
just
you mean
some.
most of them?
99% at least.
99.99%, yes.
You know, you gotta applaud the man, honestly.
Wow.
That is the saddest part about it. And it's not to make it even more impressive, the waifu collection story is a multi-cross.
Of course it is.
I'm gonna have to ask you for a link later
Yeah, I'll give it
for
to you.
science purposes.
Research. Okay, Isaac.
Yeah. Thanks.
What if Redo of a Healer got summoned as the shield hero? Fucking
Oh,
Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes. Yes. That's base as fuck. Underplayed.
That would be Honestly, Redo of a Shield Hero is basically like a more R-rated version of Rising of the Shield Hero.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, is it? Because
Redo
like
of
he's
Healer.
only screwed over by there's only one female character that screws him over at the very beginning.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I say it's a more R-rated version because effectively it's the same kind of idea of the arc in which the main character is screwed over by the princess. But the reason why Redo is more R-rated is because the main character is physically, emotionally, and spiritually continuously screwed over by the princess, while in Shield Hero, it resolves that arc very quickly.
Yeah.
I still think that it would get very, very spicy very, very quickly. Also, I feel like Moyotasu would somehow end up framed for everything.
What is this?
Anyway, so
It's very odd. Aisle 11, Atin.
Yes, that is why I shared it with you.
So
Also-
anyway, yes, I could gain a true Longius or become a heavenly dragon. The whole idea of being able to do nothing but destroy wasn't something I liked, so I had a different idea. What in the actual fuck? Oh, okay. I thought the author had wrote something different. If I said I wanted the Sephiroth Grail, would you turn me into a girl to get it? I asked. Agent blinked and shook her head. No, I'm not one of the Robs that enjoy screwing people. But are you sure? The world's going to be dangerous, and the
Wait.
Grail doesn't have much ways of combat power.
Wait, that's kind of based, like, you know, on feminism. Screwing you over by turning you into a girl.
Arn, you can just tell us you're planning a transition. We won't
Yeah.
judge you. Well, Atin won't judge you harshly.
Wait, hang on,
Sneaky
man.
might.
You get
I'll
that?
definitely
Where do
judge
you get
you,
that
but don't
fucking
worry. I
conclusion-
won't hold it against
conclusion
you.
from that? No, I'm just curious. Where the fuck did you get that from?
What?
Because you're so gung-ho on it for some reason.
Bruh. I just like being edgy, man. Where's
Yeah,
that gonna
we-
make you
we-
trans now?
We
Yeah, we
figured
picked
that
up on
by
that.
now. You're about as
Yeah.
good as it as middle schoolers.
Thanks.
So,
It's actually really amusing, Aaron. You should have seen. Actually, no, you. I'm not Aaron. Max. Max actually has seen you. I read some old statements from you on stream. So Aaron has fascinatingly matured backwards. Actually.
oh no!
You see,
Wow.
Really?
you see, he was about as mature as a 20-year-old when he was 10, and then every year past that, you actually subtract 1 year from his maturity instead of adding it.
Well, I mean, it's
Oh, okay. So
it's-
he's got that Benjamin Button thing, but mentally.
Yeah,
Okay.
only in his brain though. So give him 5 more years, he'll be shitting himself.
fuck off. Piece of shit. Give you 5 more years and you'll be fucking dead. Never better off without you.
I can't believe you let me set
The
that one
problem
up.
is that you actually gave Sneaky ammo. The only thing I can make fun of you for is your height, your voice, and your edgelord humor. Like, that's it. To go off of. Sneaky, you gave actual material to.
Oh yeah, no. Shield Hero is another one of those worlds that's really good for crossovers. Shield Hero,
you were
Familiar
throwing under the bus
Zero,
then.
Worm, all are really good stories.
Oof.
You know, I think about it, you should just take away the power of porn-based magical girl from the AO3 story from a while ago. Scion wouldn't have stood a chance. You know what? That's fair enough. Porn-based magical girl probably would end up beating Scion.
What? Is there any context to that that would make sense?
No.
Drink about 5 shots of whiskey and tell me. Six shots of whiskey. Honestly, I don't know. I'm just saying that's pretty based when you ask for the Sephiroth Grail and so they turn you into a girl. I kind of find the humor in that one.
What is the Sephiroth Grail?
So in DxD, the Sephiroth Grail is the holy grail of Christ that Christ bled into when he died. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
And it has the power to alter people's souls and other previously immutable characteristics of the world. And someone who's skilled enough with it could be like, skedaddle skedoodle, you're not dead anymore. Or skedaddle skedoodle, even though you're a vampire, the sun doesn't burn you anymore. Or bing bang bong, you're a devil, but now you're immune to holy energy.
Okay. Following so far.
The owner of said item in DxD was this little vampire girl who was tortured by her family to turn her into basically a machine so she wouldn't resist them when they told her to do something to someone. Like turn them into a mindless slave.
Huh.
Seems like some wonderful family magic there.
And then Issei saved her and she became another part of the harem.
Boy, Japan sure does like its aggressive levels of edge.
Yes.
From time to time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I mean, they also commit a shit ton of suicide, so...
I was gonna say, Japan loves its edge. And it's, there's some Japanese authors out there who have a real fascination with pants sweating.
Do you think it would be offensive if I ever ended up in Japan and went to the Suicide Forest and then set up multiple speakers to play Crawling in My Crawl on full volume?
Somehow, yes.
I'm pretty sure you would get arrested.
No, not arrested.
I'm pretty sure
pretty
sure you'd start a controversy faster than Logan Paul.
You know what? That's entirely possible, and then I can leverage that to become famous.
Yeah.
Great idea. I'm gonna thank you for
Finally
that
get
one.
your 5 minutes of fame.
I'll be sure to mention you by exact name and address in my video.
Sneaky, better plan.
Yeah.
Use my brother's name and address.
Doesn't he live with you?
No.
That is changing very soon.
So unless you perform your plan in the next week.
Very well
Sneaky's
then.
Sneaky's got money. He can do it.
I do.
Oh wait,
You gotta go
no,
fast.
he's got to provide proof of either vaccination or negative COVID test.
Yes, proof of autism.
Damn you, Japan!
Yeah, Japan's real strict
But
about
see, my family
incoming travel
keeps
right now.
saying, sneaky, sneaky. You should get the COVID vaccine. Sneaky, get the COVID vaccine. You're a compromised individual. I'm just like, yeah, I'm a compromised individual. If I get COVID, I'm fucking dead. Why the fuck would I get the vaccine for it?
Because people don't understand how vaccines work.
Become
This-
deader.
They also
we-
don't understand how much you thirst for death.
Yeah, okay, so we clearly were in a really sweet spot of the public education system where there's a lot of stuff that we understand that I remember being taught in high school that people 3 and 4 years my junior never learned.
No, I actually didn't get taught any of this in high school. All of my knowledge about biology comes from the fact that I actually memorized the big book of biology. Because that was the only book my mother let me read for 5 years. And on top of that, I did the AP assignments, biology in high school, and no one else did, so I got basically all of them, and that's how I ended up with 107 in biology. So I just kept doing the AP
Oh,
assignments.
you were that asshole.
No, Max, I don't think you comprehend how much of a shit I was in biology. I slept 45 to 50 minutes class. I would wake up in the last 5 minutes of class to work. Everyone else was and then I would just hand it in as the bell rang. I would just hand in this worksheet in biology that I had spent the entire time sleeping on. Literally sleeping on. In
Of
plain
course
view
you
of the
did.
teacher. And the bio teacher was such a Chad. He took it completely in stride and even made the joke that because I slept on the biology book every class, I actually absorbed all of my knowledge through osmosis.
Congratulations. You have achieved that which many students before you have tried and failed.
What, being able to sleep through class and ending up with a higher grade than 100%?
No, the osmosis thing.
Yeah.
That was a running joke in a lot of my AP courses as well. Like, you could always try osmosis if you want.
I hope you guys are not reading into reading.
I mean, they do say sleeping on knowledge makes you learn it better.
Soprano clips. No, we don't intentionally go out to read shit. So basically, what I do is every couple of weeks, I'll go out onto Fanfiction and I'll just harvest the top stories that look interesting enough to potentially read. I don't read them at all. The only thing I read about them is the summaries, maybe the pairings and whatnot. And I just put them into a giant list. And unfortunately, it turns out, according to some calculations someone did a while back, it was like 98% of the time a fan fiction story is going to be utter garbage if you just go by what updated recently. Which is
Yeah,
pretty
based
sad,
on what
to be
was
honest.
read on... I think
And
based
by
on
the
what
simple
was read
fact
on
of it
this...
being fan fiction, that much should be
stream.
obvious.
Yeah. But do we do mafia stuff? Unfortunately, we actually kind of stay away from the Sopranos and whatnot because it's been 9 years since I pretended to watch The Sopranos, so I've basically forgotten all of the information since then. And I really only stick to shit I know, so I can actually accurately, comment on it.
Accurately diss it.
Yeah, like there's no point in reading a Mega Man fanfic for me because I don't know Mega Man. I don't know anything about Mega Man beyond he's Mega Man and he kills people and takes their power-ups, and that's all I fucking know about Mega Man. And so there's no point for me reading in Mega Man fic.
Somebody
man, and
shut
he's
their
very
dog
big.
up.
That's fucking
Hold
nose
on.
hair. Nose,
Yeah.
I will literally bomb Boston until your dog is dead.
Yeah, shut up your Chinese burger, dude. Come on.
Recommendations. Actual books and shit. Actual books and shit. I haven't read an actual book in quite a long time, and it's not because I've been reading fan fiction. I actually stopped reading books around senior year of high school because I pretty much had read the entire fantasy section of Barnes and Noble and Borders, and if I hadn't read the book at Barnes and Noble and Borders, I wasn't going to read it because there
were
was
reasons
so
for
much.
it.
Well, no, there was so much garbage. Like I would go through and be like, zombie
Exactly, that's a
time
reason.
4, time for more zombies, and it's like, oh wow, it's generic protagonist and generic protagonist love interest fighting zombies in generic zombie world with absolutely nothing interesting about them. Oh wow, it's another generic fantasy story about generic beating generic. And there was just so much garbage, and that's why I ended up giving up reading actual published books, because the market was getting absolutely flooded at the time with garbage. So I've pretty much given up.
Oh, it's still getting flooded now, but the difference is you can look
Yeah.
at it and be like, okay, is this self-published or did a company actually pick it up?
Fair enough. Oh man,
Yeah.
so many self-published books are just so garbage. That doesn't to say that company published books aren't garbage either, because goddamn, so many of them are fucking garbage too. But it really it does a really morale blow to me to see so much garbage out there. Like with fan fiction, I can still sort of buy the excuse that it's just fan fiction. You're just doing it for fun. You're just, you just want to get your story, no matter how stupid it is, out there because it was really stuck in your head. You want to write it. It's like, fine, fair enough. But when you're self-publishing, you're literally putting a book up to the public, saying, "Pay me money because my story is worth it," and it's just garbage. And when it's not self-published, when it's company-published books, I can still get it because like the market, the market analysis, the fucking analyzers at the company looked at like your book premise and were like, yeah, this book premise is selling really well right now, so we're gonna pick up your book and try and sell it. And like they haven't read a fucking book since high school either, so they don't know what a book is.
Well, here's the thing. At the very least, they can prove that there is a market for it, and they can at least push it to that market. So you'll see something at least. Right.
And so I'm not saying company published books are better. It's that they usually kind of just pander to what's popular at the time. I ideally disparage self-published books though, because it is you are looking at your own work and you're saying, yes, people should pay money for this. That's how good it is that people shouldn't even be able to read it before they pay money for it. Because at least like a busker or a deviant artist, right? At least those two groups of people actually let you look at their work before you pay for it. Except these self-published authors are just like, no, you can't even read my story before you pay for it. And that's how good my story is, and it's fucking garbage. Like the fucking the carnivorous muffin. No, was it carnivorous muffin? It's one of the muffin guys, the Incredible Muffin. There we go. Incredible Muffin has his own fucking story called like Delta Force 6 Foxtrot or whatever. And it is the cringiest sci-fi shit in existence. The cover is just traced from Mass Effect art, and the whole thing is just a fucking shit show of a story. And he constantly advertises it. And he's got thousands of people that read his story, but he's got 5 reviews for his self-published work. Because so many people looked at that story and said, I am not paying $15 for this.
Oh, he wants $15? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like with
Jesus
a published book in
Christ.
a bookstore, at least you can pick up the book and like flip through it, have a look.
Right,
Get a
exactly.
Go,
taste.
yes, I see. Garbage.
Yeah. But, well, more self-published stuff, digital at least. Oof.
But as far as Mafia goes, I've never actually read a Mafia book. Yeah, no, I actually can't. Nothing comes to mind really when it comes to this sort of Mafia or Mafia equivalent fictional writing.
Oh, also, regrettably, I have to report the new Uriel Ventris book is just. I read the first like 15 pages.
Yeah.
It is absolute garbage. They're charging $16 for a barely 200-page novel as well. Like,
$16 for a light novel, huh?
yes. Not even a well-written one.
So a web novel. Ooh.
Oof.
But anyway, back to this trash heap. Wow! Woo! 8 shots.
Sneaky, I really appreciate you linking me this banjo.
No problem. I actually really enjoy it myself as well.
Banjo is one of those instruments that you look at, it's like, there's no way that sounds good, and then you put it in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing. It's like, oh wow, that's a really interesting
Speaking
sound.
of hands of someone who knows what they're doing, so Gura had recently acquired a banjo ukulele.
Oh no.
Yep.
I want to point out,
He's
I am
learning to
both
play it.
pleased and incised that is a thing.
And she was so someone, basically the premise is that someone super chatted her like, are you gonna get a banjo ukulele next? Because she has 4 or 5 ukuleles of
And
different.
a banjo.
Well, yeah. But she recently bought a banjo, and she was talking about getting of receiving the banjo, and she's like, "Hey guys, can you hear this?" And someone super chatted her of, now that you have a banjo and now that you have a ukulele, because she was complaining about, she basically has to relearn songs because a banjo has completely different chords from a ukulele.
Oh, yeah.
Someone commented out, "Are you gonna get the banjo uke?" And she's like, "What's a banjo uke?" And so she click 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 click. Banjo ukulele, and it comes in blue. I have purchased one, everyone.
Oh no.
Basically, fucking Cali with the kazoos, except more expensive. Yeah, well, Cali bought 2.
3.
Did she buy another one?
No, she bought 3 originally because she thought the
Oh,
first 2
really?
were broken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
I
then
saw that
she learned
video of the legacy of the kazoos.
Hum
I'm like,
into
wait,
it.
has
Hum
she never
into it.
used a kazoo? I heard her just blowing, and I'm like,
Ah!
oh, she doesn't know. Well, she's never had a kazoo. What a horrible
Ugh.
childhood.
God. I mean, I'm happy for Callie because it's really come full circle for her, because she used to sing originally, and then someone told her that her singing sucks and she should never sing again. And as an extrovert who really relied on external validation, that was a major blow to her, so she stopped singing. And she ended up taking up dramatic story reading. Yeah, sort of like what we're doing right here.
Only, prettier and more successful.
Yeah, except she started winning competitions for it and, got paid the money.
I mean, to be fair, Sneaky, I'm pretty sure you could probably.
Oh, I could probably.
compete in such
As long as I
things.
wasn't drinking, I could probably pull it off as well. Yeah.
Just
And
need to make sure you
need
bring
the
a pint of
alcohol
milk
to
with you.
fortify,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, basically, I gotta fortify my voice. But she was doing really good at dramatic reading, and someone was like, "Wow, I think you'd be pretty good at rapping." And that's where her really weird pitch shifting comes from in rapping, in her rap songs, because she's used to the pitch shift from dramatic reading, where she's putting certain emphasis on words. And then that she got into rapping from that, and because she started being successful in rapping from that, Cover Corp ended up picking her up and as Callie, and now as Callie, she started singing again because that's what all of the Japanese VTubers were doing, and people were like, "Wow, you're amazing at singing," and because she was getting the Yes, I know. I've heard your complaints before about her singing.
She just needs a voice coach. That's it.
Oh, she really does. I know.
That's all she needs.
And then from that, because she was getting all this high popularity from being a VTuber in Japan that sang really well, companies started contracting her to do singing for their OSTs. And so it has come full circle.
It's a lot of ballooning right there.
She started her journey off being told that she should never sing again because she was shit at it, and she has ended her journey with being paid to sing.
Excellent.
We have no idea what she sounded like before, but like, it's there for sure. I can hear a good voice in there.
It's. I think it's a confidence issue. Both Gura and Callie suffer from confidence issues in different ways when it comes to songs.
And some of the EN cast suffers from a wee bit too much confidence, like Kiara thinking people like her voice.
There are people that like her voice. I'm sorry to tell you.
She does have a cult. She is also the least subscribed and the least super chatted.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
I think
I'm gonna actually fact check you there.
I think maybe Ina is the only one with lower super chats than her, because fucking Watson just had a 9-hour super chat stream where she just read super chats, and she does this once per week. 9-hour super chat stream.
Yeah, Ina has 2K less subscribers and almost 300K less in super chats. Oh god.
300? Jesus. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, the chicken has built a cult, but Jesus Christ, everyone outside the cult absolutely loathes the chicken. Like, every Reddit, 4chan, Discords I'm in, everyone always refers to the chicken as that fucking chicken.
Yeah, actually, Kiara is second in super chats. Above Gura, below Callie. Yeah.
Oh. What did I miss?
That's
Kiara has a cult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. This is established fact.
I also do love the established fact that Gura now has her own place that she sends people who misbehave, which is the Funny Farm, because her chat's comedians.
Yes.
Yep. You're going to the Funny Farm.
You're all going to the Funny Farm.
See, my memories of Animal Farm are kicking in from that.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Wait, no.
And no, she very much meant it in that way, Max, of like, this is the concentration camp where I will concentrate all of the people that think they are comedians.
Oh god, please no.
Gura, no.
Oh
god, her member streams or something else, she'll be like, oh yeah, the Funny Farm will take care of you. It's like, Jesus Christ, Gura. She is also on record saying, fuck the children.
Yep.
Oh my god, Gura, please.
I hope it was a joke.
No.
It was
so
out of
basically what
context.
happened was Kelly was cursing, or so it was either reluctant to curse or something. And
Yeah,
she's like,
she was like, she cursed, and then she said, oh, no, I shouldn't say that. Think of the children.
Yeah, think of the
and then
children.
Gura went, fuck the children.
Gura fucking immediately replied with, fuck the children.
That probably
there was a
was meant. That probably was meant to be funny.
Yeah.
Because
Oh no, we found
Sneaky,
hilarity out of it. No,
I
it's
think
cool.
I told you about this story, Sneaky.
Mhm.
About the person who yelled "fuck the kids" while I was still working at GameStop. They're asked, "Are you okay with donating like $1 to St. Jude's?"
Oh, fuck. That's great.
And they just yelled "fuck the kids" straight face. in the
that's
middle of what was
At
one of our
GameStop.
busier hours at GameStop. It's like, sir? Gonna have to ask you to leave once you're done with your purchase there and maybe never come back.
What do you say to that?
No, it's even
No,
better.
we didn't say that. We didn't say that. The manager just looks at him and is like, dude, really? And then hands him his change, and he just walks out.
No, it gets even
By the way,
better.
he was with
Power
his
move,
girlfriend
honestly.
too,
Great.
who, for some reason, agreed with him.
Well, that's not a. No, hold on, that's not a big surprise. But anyway,
Woman.
it's even funnier because in the next stream, Callie was swearing and she saw someone in chat saying, "Callie, but what about the children?" She goes, "I'm gonna quote Gura on this one. Screw the children."
Oh my
She
god.
can't even quote correctly.
No, she's trying to be more family friendly, even while
as
being
she's saying she's not
family
gonna be
friendly.
family friendly, she's being family friendly.
Yeah, that's Cali for you.
I appreciate the effort she makes for that. Like, they're there.
God.
She tries.
Honestly, it's kind of sad that a bunch of people hiding behind anime avatars feel more genuine than people like Markiplier.
Yeah.
I would argue against that. Just
Yeah.
because of some of the shit he shared over the years.
Over the years, sure, but like overall, the character of Markiplier is entirely a character. He
I'm
literally
not
admitted at one point that he took like 6 months of acting lessons.
Yes,
If you're gonna
Specifically,
make
hobby. What does
acting in
that?
front of you. Fucking.
no, he's trying because I've seen the difference in his videos. The difference in his videos of like when he was doing Five Nights at Freddy's, when he was doing shit like Subnautica and Five Nights at Freddy's, when it genuinely terrified him, his personality was distinctly different between games that legitimately made him scared, so he dropped character, and games that he wasn't scared of, and so he tried to be the lol so random funny guy.
The internet funny man.
No, I think that's just his general personality. Because that's what he attempts during sections. He's not scared in those games that you mentioned.
That's my
I don't
point,
think that's a
though.
character drop. I think that's just an aspect of his personality.
I think it's a character drop.
Yeah, well, to each their own.
Yeah. Anyway, but point being is, it just feels more genuine.
They're
That's what I'm
a
trying to say.
lot. Here's the thing, though. They are a lot more genuine than a number of other streamers, though.
Yeah,
Like,
Jesus Christ.
ooh,
Oh boy. Mark was pretty genuine all throughout the Unus Annus. Yeah, Unus Annus was his side project.
The one
where he
anus.
Yeah, he tried being super serious during that one, and that was actually something I nodded my head towards. I didn't really follow it because I wasn't super,
I looked at it from time to time. You would definitely have trouble with the person you did it with, Ethan, because Ethan is
Yes, Ethan is
So-
very much manufactured personality.
no Sneaky, as someone who was able to get rid of the H part of ADHD. He is still very severely ADHD. Like, if you pay attention to his mannerisms and you're familiar with what people with ADD and ADHD go through,
I am, yeah.
that dude needs to be on serious medication. Looking at some of the older videos after someone mentioned he has
Okay, yeah.
ADHD, I'm like, oh, these actions make a lot more sense now. Because I
Maybe.
went through this when I was a lot younger. Some of it you don't grow out of, unfortunately, and some people, even with medication,
I
can't
don't know.
help
I think
themselves.
it's just a personal bias of mine as a history of someone who has, in fact, like actually developed enough will to not be a fucking as spasmatic as I used to be. Like, you guys think I'm spasmatic and off the wall right now? Like,
No.
Jesus
No,
fucking
not really.
Christ.
Yeah,
To be
not
honest,
really.
I don't really think that.
Not really.
Nah.
Okay, then good.
we
because
just think you're an asshole.
Jesus fucking
Yeah.
Christ, how I used to be. Jesus fucking. I'm looking back on those years, and I'm just like, I probably would shoot myself if I went back in
Well,
time.
Sneaky, as has been discussed, I don't think you were ADHD. I think you were just a kid because the medication they gave you should not have done. You should not have received the side effects you did.
No, I know. They re-diagnosed me multiple times, and I even said to myself that I shouldn't be taking this medicine because it's giving me a bunch of weird side effects. But of course, I was ignored because I was just a kid. We didn't know better because obviously I wouldn't know what's going on with my own body. Despite the fact that I was constantly right about what was going on with my own body.
Yeah, it's.
Hey, Dad, I
it's,
think I have strep throat. You don't have strep throat, son. 5 days later. Your son has strep throat. If you had gotten here 3 days ago, we would have been able to cure it without issues.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
You know,
Also-
Pedro, okay, actually, you know what? Pedro raises a good point. Ethan's bad at faking anything, and when he does, it doesn't last long. And I think that's the problem.
yeah.
Is I never
No,
actually stuck around on his videos for a very long period of time, and I think that's what I ended up getting. Is I ended up getting the parts where he was trying to fake stuff, and just
yeah, so Ethan is very much an acquired taste because of his because of what his ADHD does to his personality. It's kind of hard to laugh with him sometimes. And yeah, when he does try to fake stuff, it's really, really bad. Like, it's extremely clear, and it's clear he's not overacting for the sake of comedy. He's just that bad at it. Which kind of makes sense. A lot of ADHD people, we're not so good at lying
So you
without
know
a lot
how-
of practice.
Oh, I'm terrible at lying. I have the worst fucking poker face when it comes to lying. I have a great poker face, apparently, when it comes to everything but lying. But it actually does extend to poker. I'm pretty good at poker.
That's because you're not lying in poker. You're just staring at cards. You're not being asked to actively tell a lie.
Well, I also apparently just have this passive confidence about me. Like, doesn't matter how bad my fucking cards are. I'm just like, boom, let's fucking do this. I could have like a 2 and a king, and I would have the same amount of confidence in my hand as if I had like a fucking ace and an ace.
Sneaky, that confidence stems from it doesn't matter what I have. It just matters that it's better than theirs. Obviously,
Exactly.
I
If
know
I
it's
get a
better than
fucking
theirs.
king or a 2, I win. Doesn't matter. Let's go.
Like, confidence is pretty interchangeable with stupidity at times. So
I mean,
You know,
with
see-
Sneaky, they're the same thing.
As I've told you way back in 2012, Max, stupidity is only when it doesn't work.
that is, I will continue to argue. No, it's still stupidity. It just happened to work. Like, Atin tried that the other day, where it's like, but if it worked, is it really stupid? Yes, it just worked. It's still stupid.
Also, for anyone interested, I am now currently on 15 shots.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
goody.
So anyway, back to the story that we've been delaying talking about. It's pretty garbage, to be honest. Randomly, the random omnipotent beings, like, I feel really bad not sending you into combat with a power that can be used actively during combat. So we'll also randomly make you a dehampire, half vampire. Anyone not
Dumper.
aware?
A dumper.
Dhampir, sure, whatever. Dehampire.
I think that's
Romanian. Sorry, sir. You have been
For some
diagnosed with
reason, the
Romanian.
author refers to this as, I'll throw in the rest of the abilities that come with the Grail. For some reason, the author believes that having the Holy Grail makes you a half vampire. I don't know why that is.
Don't you actually?
Also, excellent
Is
news,
that
Max.
actually a
I
thing,
think
though?
that's in a fiction somewhere. That
Yeah,
I've
I think
seen
there's,
that in a
there's
story
some
somewhere.
connection there.
Anyway, so Max,
I don't think it's just fan
I'll
fiction
give you
for
some
Nation.
excellent news that I just discovered. Apparently,
Uh-huh.
today is one of those days where I actually have 0 latency on my stream.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
that's so rare.
yeah, and
It's so rare that we've stopped waiting for it.
I just noticed.
Wait, can we? I can choose the quality too. Good news,
Oh, wow.
Sneaky. You're the only person streaming.
I am the only person on Twitch currently streaming. This just in. Everyone else assassinated.
Based.
Sneaky, where did you get the money?
You see, I promised them all 1 Bitcoin, and then I promised all the surviving ones another Bitcoin.
So now you're just waiting for the winner to show up.
So I could shoot them. Exactly.
Yep.
Oh.
Give them their lead Bitcoin.
Exactly. Yeah, VOD it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna get. Fuck you, Aura. That's right, Aura. Aura, who I know is currently watching the VOD in 5 hours. Fuck you!
Yeah, eat shit, or you little fucking cunt. Stop working, watch the
Remember
podcast.
when Aura was
No,
watching a
I'm
different
not going
VOD
to
and
turn
just started
you
commenting in
into
the chat?
What? Oh, yes. Yeah.
I think that was Aura. Like he started
no,
commenting.
that was Calvin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it Calvin?
Yeah, that was Calvin who used to leave comments on. Aura did it like twice. We'll give you that. Aura did leave a comment on previous VODs while he was watching the current VOD or current stream while we were streaming.
Yeah, we're
Aura
just
moment.
like, what the Aura? What are you?
It's
What
like,
are you
cut.
typing?
This is not a continuous. There is no continuity. We are an episodic format. There is no continuity here. What the fuck are you doing? Watching a VOD
I mean,
while
the
we
only
are
continuities
live.
are increasing the the spared state
Fuck you.
as
Well,
we lose more faith in the world.
I mean, it's got to be something else to be watching me like at the same time. The fucking echo as I proceed to outline the same problems in every single fanfiction in existence.
Yeah, it's just like every episode is actually the same.
Every episode is actually the same if you look really closely and squint and mute me.
Yeah, if you don't actually look at the text or anything, it's just like text. Yeah.
No, I will not turn you into a cross-dressing trap or a girl. I meant what I said. I'm sure you can deal with the changes that come with being half vampire. Okay, I won't argue with that. Are we done here? Yes. Are you ready to see your new home? Sure. There are no supernatural, no gods, monsters, or magic. Instead, superheroes, and there's a glowing idiot fly around. Oh shit, you're fucking sending me to Worm. Oh fucking god, I might just take a god-killing power now. But I shook my head, and I was like, no, I will stick to my guns. Give me the power that I definitely can't use against Scion. Well, if things play out as they are meant to, the chances of Taylor winning are 9 to 10 against. Look, so this is the thing here. Because of the nature of Worm and the whole layered reality that Worm has in fact canonized, there is no real multiverse theory. There in Worm, it's not the whole in multiverse theory of, you know, in one universe I took a left, in one universe I took a right. Multiverse theory, as far as Worm goes, is actually established, and this is why I really hate it when people alter it, because it's already been canonized. Why do you need to alter it? Multiverse theory already exists, as we have Earth Alpha, which is where superheroes didn't show up until like the 80s or some point, which is 20 years later than Earth Bet. Earth Bet being the main universe that the story is taking place in. And, you know, I will give credit to Wildbow where credit is due. He did not make his world the main world, quote unquote. Then you have a bunch of other worlds where different divergent points so in humanity's history occurred. And that's actually really important, because as far as multiverse theory goes, when it comes to Worm, it's actually a divergent point theory and not a branching theory. which just basically means it's not there's a multiverse where you made every choice. Instead, there is a multiverse when key moments occurred. Like, Scion showed up in this universe. In this universe, he did not show up. You know, in this universe, China was united and took over all of Asia. In this universe, the dinosaurs never died out, etc., etc. It's specific key points in time that changed the course of history. Not, I decided to take a left today instead of a right. And so when you say things like, oh, there's a 9 in 10 chance of Taylor losing, it's actually no. There's a 100% chance of Taylor winning. In every single multiverse, Taylor wins. Because in actuality, the battle that takes place against Zion actually travels across the multiverse.
Yeah, as was mentioned, some of those other worlds were real confused when suddenly they were intruded upon in the middle of that fight.
Yeah, and not only that, Scion specifically is a dimensional traveling entity which keeps itself to a specific dimension, aka multiverse, at a time, because it's specifically controlling all variables because it is a giant fucking brute force supercomputer, and it is effectively using every single variant of the world that doesn't have superpowers in it as a version that it can study and see how things are different compared to powers or without powers, or with minimal powers, or only one person has powers. It actually does this thing called experimentation. Shocking.
Yeah,
I know.
wasn't that what? Yeah, I think I'm remembering it correctly, but like the big takeaway for the fight, the big reveal is like, all right, we managed to kill off 99 versions of Scion, so this is the only one here.
No.
Or am I thinking?
You're thinking of something else. It's basically what happens is that Zion's body, the body they were fighting, doesn't actually exist. It effectively is a representation of Zion, the entity, the warrior. And because of that, it has a power to, quote unquote, naturally regenerate and also naturally become immune to anything it regenerates from. And so while they technically killed Zion hundreds of times, the problem is because it was a projection and not the actual body, they weren't actually making progress against actually fighting Zion. Because every time they killed the body, he just became immune to whatever killed him, but he wasn't actually injured because it's just a projection of a body. And that's why ultimately Taylor ended up winning.
I remember what I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm. That's ultimately why Taylor ended up winning when she showed Zion. I forget whether it was intentional or not, but she ended up showing Zion the corpse of his partner. At which point, when he saw the corpse, he realized, as a computer would, that all experiments, and war game style, I guess you could say. I'm going to out myself on my age right here. War game style. The Zion realized that it didn't matter what the results were from the Humanity Earth test. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, he was not capable of performing the same functions as the Thinker, and therefore, with the Thinker dead, no further calculations could be feasibly made towards their end goal. And so there was no point in existing anymore because his function as the protector of the Thinker was void.
Oh, hey, would you look at that? We're done.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And that.
So you're gonna just keep autisming them out?
Yes, I'm gonna keep going. Fuck you.
Bye.
Okay, we'll keep going. Oh wow, that for some reason made me scroll down a bunch. I literally banged the other end of the table.
Good job.
And it just
Nice.
fucking jumped. Thankfully, all of my whiskey is still inside my whiskey glass.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you have your whiskey still.
I'm kind of surprised.
Honestly,
for once,
I'm
Atin's actually
honestly
sticking
not-
around to do his job.
Yeah, I know, right?
Instead
I'm
of
honestly
leaving
not
Arn to do
really
it.
giving a shit about this story at all. If anyone who's gotten this far couldn't tell, I could not give a flying shit about this story. This story is so fucking bland and boring that we couldn't even get past the opening where he got his fucking powers, because the author is just getting shit continuously wrong, and where they're like, oh, well, I'll take the Sephiroth Grail, and it's like, technically speaking, with devil powers, if you get enough power with devil powers, you can replicate any fucking sacred gear. If you gather enough power with the power of the devil of imagination. You can literally do anything. It is called the power of imagination. And before you're like, that's just what the author called it. No. It is literally the power of imagination. There was someone who was so autistic in the devil race, so autistic, so fucking hyper autism, that if you added up the collective autism of the entirety of 4chan together, it would still pale in comparison as a raindrop to the sheer autism of this one character in DxD, that he actually mathematically calculated the universe. And so by using his devil power to calculate the universe, he was capable of altering any variable in the universe at will, because he had already figured out the calculations required to do it via math. Because that's how autistic he was.
That's some dedication.
So, that is the power of imagination at its very peak.
By
I mean, it's
grounding
really
it
more
in
the power of
reality.
autism, but yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, obviously the power of autism let it reach at that point, but still the point stands of it wouldn't have reached that point if the character wasn't capable of the power of imagination.
Yes.
And because of that, not acquiring the power of imagination when you're given a choice of power sets is the dumbest shit you could ever do. I want the Sephiroth Grail. So the Sephiroth Grail actually has a downside to it, is that it inflicts terrible agony, not upon your body, not upon your mind, but it inflicts terrible agony upon your very soul every time you use it to alter someone else's.
Huh.
Mind-rending pain and suffering every time you use it on someone else. Eventually, you learn how to properly use it enough that that pain doesn't occur anymore. But the character that originally had it in DxD literally had to be tortured into getting into a mental state to be able to suffer using it properly. Like daily torture over the course of decades to get into the mindset of properly using it.
Wow.
So, picking the Sephiroth Grail, while technically it is a basically Fate Stay Night Wish card, is fucking dumb. It is a pathetic shade of the power of imagination from DxD. It's just, I hate this author. I've said it before when I've covered his other stories, but I actually genuinely hate this author because he just head empty, no thoughts. Like, not only does he say, oh, I'm dyslexic, so I'm going to make spelling errors, so he doesn't, like, actually correct his work when he does make spelling errors. And not only are his sentences quite confusing at times, because they're not very coherent, but his ideas of what, quote-unquote, makes, quote-unquote, cool stories are just so not cool. Like, power of imagination is actually limited by both your imagination and your amount of power you have to power your imagination. It's really fucking funny how that works, eh? But as far as that goes, the power of imagination can't exceed the amount of power you have available to power your imagination, and it can't exceed your own imagination. And just because you can sit there and be like, I can daydream of what it would be like to fly, doesn't mean you can actually imagine yourself flying. You know what I mean? Just because you can daydream, having the strength to punch through boulders and warp steel with just flexing, doesn't mean you can actually imagine yourself doing that when you are in reality, like trying to bend an I-beam. That is a major mental hurdle you have to get over. And even if you do learn to eventually, bend I-beams and fly, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to imagine yourself having infinite power. Because you have to first conceptualize what infinite means to have your power of imagination manifest infinite power. And so that's a bunch of mental hurdles. You could almost say it's like creating a reality marble. One doesn't just do it. It's a process that significantly warps your worldview.
Yeah.
I would say the other thing about it is, it's definitely less effective the later in life that you acquire it.
Well, right, yeah, that too, obviously. But you do sort of get a head start when it comes to the power of imagination. Even if you are in the later factions of your life, say maybe you're a 20-something having your midlife crisis, and you get hit by a truck or some shit, and some entity appears before you in a white void and says, you now have the power of imagination. You are only limited by your imagination. Now go forth and save the world, and you're transported to some random world. I would say that my concepts of reality would be significantly shaken up to the point where I'd probably be able to start using it, regardless of how old I am. Because my previous concepts of reality didn't include white voids, random entities, or being isekai. And so that I personally feel like that's a significant enough mindset that you can genuinely, regardless of age, be like, nope, they are unstable enough right now that they could theoretically still make use of it.
Just, yeah, and you are right, but like, if you have a bunch of kids,
sure, yeah, no,
right?
Obviously, kids are going to be more capable,
right?
Of doing
And then, of
that.
course, because as long as you can imagine it, you can do it, right? Tell the kid, bend the I-beam. Think about doing it really hard. Kid bends the I-beam. Now the kid, right? Then when the kid's,
now the
like
kid thinks
10,
they can bend I-beams, yeah.
And then when you tell the kid, right? Then when the kid hits 15, and you're like, bend the car, right? The kid's brain is still going to be like, I can't do that, but they've already done it, so they can conceptualize it.
Right, exactly. Not only that, it's also way easier to trick kids, where if like they can't bend the car at first, you can be like, all right, well, we're gonna go on a training montage, and by the end you'll be able to bend this car. And all you do is you make them like carry really heavy rocks and a whole bunch of other stupid shit, but the kid's like totally into it because, again, they're a kid. But the kid's like totally fucking into it because they're like, oh, at the end of this training arc, I'll be able to bend a car. And so at the end of the training arc, they can bend the car because they have their power of fucking imagination. And because they believe at the end of the training arc they'll be able to bend the car, they fucking can. But no, I get your point. But yeah, the author's just so fucking... Like, the writing is actually, if you ignore all of the spelling errors and the minor grammar errors here and there, the writing's not that bad, and the premise is surprisingly handled not terribly. But the author tries to give character logic in the story with, I guess, the assumption that the character is the author, question mark? Or some sort of author XP, as it's just like, oh yeah, it's a person and it's in first person, and they already know about all the fan fiction tropes surrounding it. So I guess it's some sort of, you know, if it's not an author XP, it's a genre savvy character, I believe it's as it's called. So it's
Oh
Excuse
yes,
me.
those.
it's still at the end of the day, it's effectively an author insert.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
Why do I keep hearing someone's Discord? Is that you, Nose? Is that your
It is.
Discord? I
Huh?
keep
it's always
hearing
knows.
every time you're on stream.
I
Yes.
don't know why it goes through my fucking mic.
Because you don't have your audio set to your headset.
I have it set to my fucking headset.
Do you have all of your audio set to
Well,
your headset?
your audio would like to disagree with you.
Yeah, I confirmed it. I mean, I already knew it, but you know, just did it again.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, so then arbitrarily he uses the Sephiroth Grail as a replacement Holy Grail from Fate Stay Night, because that,
Oh, that'll go super great, buddy.
for some reason, that's how that
Elias
works.
gonna really appreciate that. So is Gaia.
Yeah, apparently both, though, I don't know, either of those even exist in this world? It's fucking Worm.
Probably not.
I mean, well, no, hold on. He's calling forth from the fucking Throne of Heroes, which is a creation of Elia. So yeah, Gaia and Elia both exist in this world. That's the other shit. So I'm gonna fucking dump this story. You know, we've read it through as much as we care to. I'm gonna talk about a story that Aura was actually covering from Parcassius, because that's actually relevant. So Aura was talking earlier about a story from Parcassius that he ended up rewriting, and the original story was Campione Fate Stay Night crossover. Post Fate Stay Night, Shiro ends up getting yeeted into Campione, and then King Arthur, to prevent himself from descending as a heretic god, ends up fusing his heretic god form into Shiro due to their unusual compatibility. And the story continues from there. And while there's a lot of hand waving right at the start, it's at least like, okay, fine, I'll buy it, fine, you know. But then for some reason the Parcassius decided like, oh, this is a terrible story, so I'm gonna rewrite it. And then the premise changed from Shiro being merged with King Arthur in Campione verse. It changed into Merlin. For some reason, Fate Stay Night version of Merlin exists in Campione verse. Finds female King Arthur, who isn't King Arthur but is effectively King Arthur, in Japan, and teaches her how to use the servant summoning ritual, even though the Holy Grail doesn't exist in this universe, this Campione verse. Who then uses the servant summoning ritual to summon Servant Shiro.
Oh, you
And-
talked about this recently.
Yeah.
And
I think you
because
talked
he
about
was
it last Friday.
no, I talked about it in the chat, but I never actually talked about it in the show. And then because he was a servant, that means that he was a heretic god as well at the same time, simultaneously. Even though that makes no fucking sense. Even though the systems are similar, they're different enough that if the Throne of Heroes existed in Campione, it would be a separate entity. Because the Throne of Heroes, this is the main issue with it, is the Throne of Heroes already has established canon for it. It's not some arbitrary place that heroes live in. It's actually a place where heroes live eternally according to their legend. And they aren't aware They aren't typically aware, I should say. They aren't typically aware of when they're summoned. A version of them is summoned and stuffed into a container class every time they're summoned. The actual original hero still mutates and changes and lives on through the legends that are retold about them. Also,
The only thing that changes.
I actually personally completely stan the idea. I'm going to use the word stan here. I completely stan the idea. The reason why King Arthur and so many other heroes in Fate are for some reason women is completely due to Rule 34 and Rule 63.
Actually, interestingly enough, I now know who the fuck I can blame that was on Titan's staff at the time Fate's Day Night was made for not having male Arthur and female Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a specific dude who went to Nasu because Nasu wanted to do what they did in Fate Proto.
Right.
And he was told, "Nah, it won't sell." It's like, but
Oh.
what do you mean it won't? And I think part of the reasoning was because it was a Doujin game and they did technically sell those games with porn.
They were that was the original Fate game was sold as a porn game, not because it needed to be sold as a porn game, but because that was the only way to sell the game at the time. Because at the time, porn games were very popular in Japan, and that was basically the only indie developed game that was getting bought in large numbers, and they were financially unstable at the time. So they're like, we have to make this a porn-based visual novel if we want people to buy it at the time.
Yeah.
They ended up re-releasing the non-porn version under Fate Ataraxia, I believe, right? Or ours.
Yeah.
No, Hollow Ataraxia is a direct sequel.
Realta Nua.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking
They
of.
ended up re-releasing the non-porn version later on, after they became popular enough and solvent. Key point in there is solvent. They ended up re-releasing it without the porn.
But what they did was they replaced the H scenes with even weirder scenes. Apparently, it's like
that's pretty much
impressive.
the same. Pedro. That's the thing, though, is the problem is when combining Fate's Day Night and Campione together as a fusion world, is that both Campione and Fate's Day Night have actually already canonized their specific god realms. So the legend verse that all of the gods and heroes reside in Campione is actually a separate dimension that people can actually go to. And the same thing is described for the Throne of Heroes. But the Throne of Heroes also has additional flavor text of being for only humans. And being comprised of legends, not just people that existed. Because the Campione legend verse does not contain characters like Jack Slash in them. But the Throne of Heroes does, because that was it was a legend that gained enough belief and popularity for there to be a simulacrum invented of that person.
Yeah. Because divine serpents operate off a different set of rules.
Right, exactly. And not only that, the Throne of Heroes isn't capable of replicating a god. It is physically incapable of doing anything with divine energy in them. And that's explicitly shown throughout all of the versions of different characters, in where, Gilgamesh technically has a divine trait. I think Medusa has a divinity.
It can replicate divinity. It can't replicate it on the level of God. Like, that's the important factor, I think.
It can replicate divinity in the same way you can technically draw a Coke can on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's not just in the same way is no matter how good your drawing of the Coke can is, you can't reach over and pick up the Coke can and start drinking it. It's physically impossible. In just the same way, the Throne of Heroes can't actually record the existence of a god. It can record a shadow of their divinity and, give them powers in accordance to their myth, with, divinity being a trait of theirs, that it can, give you a rough replication of, but it can't actually summon a divine individual that is purely a divine individual. Gods are weird in Fate? Yes, absolutely. Because they operate on a system outside of prana, odd, and mana. Same with dragons, because dragons technically don't use mana or odd. They actually produce it. Just by existing, they actually counteract heat death. Fun stuff in Fate.
How the fuck does that work?
Because it does.
What part of Fate is that even from?
That's actually from the reasoning behind why Arturia has powers. She had a dragon heart surgically inserted into her chest, and it replaced her normal heart. So by merely breathing, she produced more energy than she was using.
This must be inside material or some shit. Like, that's gotta be in the side material somewhere.
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely inside material.
Yeah, Fate gets interesting with stuff.
Because I think the thing behind it is that dragons are considered mana factories because they don't exist based off of any reality. They exist based off of the belief of people that believe that there are dragons. So because their existence comes from a 0 point state, they actually produce more energy than they use. Did anyone ever make anything with the ending of CCC where Hakuno and Gilgamesh go out exploring the universe? I don't know, maybe, probably. I don't really look too deep into it.
Probably someone who did that. It's probably not that great.
Yeah, it's probably not that great either. But the rewrite was so fucking terrible from Parcassius, where it's like, for some reason, female King Arthur, but she wasn't King Arthur. It was Saberface. She was, for some reason, randomly in Japan, and for some reason, Merlin taught her how to use the Grail summoning spell, even though the Holy Grail didn't exist in this universe. And it worked, and it summoned Shiro, even though the Throne of Heroes doesn't exist in this universe. So... And also, you gotta keep in mind, also the Age of Gods is currently still going on as far as the Fate-verse is concerned about the Campione-verse. So, like...
I don't worry about it.
Her summoning Shiro would effectively punch a hole through reality and multiple dimensions to get to a Throne of Heroes. And the sheer amount of mana that was involved in that would alert every fucking mage in existence on that planet that the Throne of Heroes was contacted on.
Oh yeah, first time that happened, be like, oh fuck, oh no, oh god, why?
Because it was literally both the first and third magics combined in the terms of what was going on right there. And it just arbitrarily Shiro is summoned, but also equally as arbitrarily when Shiro was starting to use his servant powers, for some reason, the Campione-verse fused with him, turning him into a heretic god servant, and just arbitrarily powered him up as if he was also a heretic god.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Fucking exactly.
Yeah.
Because the other problem with this whole scenario is that Fateverse has also outlined the exact specific outcomes when a creature foreign to the reality of the planet arrives on that planet. We actually have precise details on what happens when that occurs. And none of those events are their powers fused together, making them stronger. None of them.
No, it's they keep their power set, and if it's an actual danger to the world, Gaia gets active. If they're a danger to humanity, Alaya gets active.
It's either they keep their power set, or they have their power set and it's amplified by the reality of the world. So say Shiro has a blade that deals true death to anyone that it touches. But normally, say this god can't die according to the Campione world. But because Shiro uses the blade on them, and then the blade says, I kill anything I touch, and the Campione verse says, well, technically no mortal blades can kill this god, but this blade isn't a mortal blade, so therefore it can kill the god. So either it replaces, or works with, or, in various ways you can, work with that. What it doesn't do ever at any point in time is fuse together permanently, and turn him into a completely separate creature than from which he started as. Which is what Parcassius went with. As that was, according to him, somehow an improvement from his original story. And this is what led me into a rant with Aura in the Discord. And I was talking about how it doesn't make any sense when fans write stories like these. And then we just start talking about Ruby, of course, and then get defensive over them. Of course you did. But because it doesn't make any sense, because again, it's one thing to write stories. It's one thing to, make art, just art in general, whether it's music, whether it's a painting, or it's a story. I know plenty of musicians that just play for themselves. They really enjoy just playing the piano, and so they'll play for themselves and they'll be happy with it. I know artists who only draw for themselves. They like painting rocks, or they just like painting in general, whether that's, with a paintbrush or an Adobe Photoshop. And they just like doing it. And they'll just do it for themselves. Maybe sometimes they'll decorate their house with the paintings they make. But it's just for themselves. They don't care about other people seeing it. But when you post it to DeviantArt, when you post it to fanfiction.net, when you post it to Patreon, when you post it to any website in general, even if you went around and started just stapling pictures of the art you made to telephone poles, or you went out and buskered at the main street, that is saying that your hobby is not for yourself. You don't go out and busker because you like playing music. You go out and busker because you like playing music and you think other people will too. And then they might pay you for it. You don't go out and juggle for a crowd because you really like juggling. You go out and juggle for a crowd because you really like juggling, and because you think the crowd will be entertained by it, whether they pay for it or not. Your hobbies doesn't mean you have to get paid for it if you do it for the public. If you are posting a fan fiction to a website, whether that's a blog or an individual website or Tumblr or wherever, it doesn't matter. It's because you want people to see your story. Because it's entirely completely, utterly within your power to write an entire story and save it as a notepad document, and no one will ever see it but you. That is entirely within your power. No one is forcing you to post stories online. But when you post a story online, that means somewhere within inside you, you want other people to see it. And it goes the same for any other hobby out there. Basket weaving, sewing, model making. If you are posting pictures of it online, it's because you want other people on some level to see what you are doing. And that's part of your hobby now, is making sure other people can see what you're doing. So then it doesn't make sense to me, and this is something I wax philosophically on, and yes, I am 19 shots in on my whiskey right now.
I'm in 19 shots in. Let me talk philosophy.
Let me talk some philosophy, right? It doesn't make sense to me that you would sit there and write a story, draw some art, craft a model, and then post it online for everyone to see, and then get defensive when people say you can do better. It doesn't make sense. Because if you're posting it online, it means you want the validation of other people in some form or fashion, or you want other people to acknowledge that you're doing it in some form or fashion. Which means that you want people on some level say good job, or you want them to share it to their friend, or you want them to even give you money for it, maybe. Which means that you want to make a product that other people will have a positive reaction to. Which makes no sense if you're making a product and then people say, well, I would like this product more if you used less only monochrome colors and only the color black. You just painted a canvas only black. There's only one color on this entire canvas. It could be green or whatever, but you get my point of and then you being like, oh, well, you just don't like it, don't look at the picture. It's like, you're the one posting it. You're the one posting it for me to see.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, just, if you are saying it is a valid argument to say just don't look at it, because people can and will just go places where they think they'll get mad at something.
No, I know. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm well aware, and I'm not saying this is some sort of absolute rule of everyone in the place you post it will specifically be there because they love and support what you're doing. People will be there to get mad at what you're doing. And, art is also subjective. Some people look at one picture and go, wow, that's an amazing picture, because they really like the style that goes into it. And some other people will go, wow, that's an absolute garbage picture, because they don't like the style that went into it. They like this other style. Same with music. Same with games. Same with movies, comics, and you name it, everyone's got a subjective opinion on it. So, obviously, of course, if someone is, and I even said this to Aura during my philosophical idea, if someone's like, there's a difference between, hey guys, this is my Captain Marvel original character, Captain, that's what it was. This is my Captain America original character. This takes place 50 years after Captain America dies. And the main character is a gay, Latino, trans, quadriplegic, blind person. And someone goes, well, Captain America isn't really any of those things, and so I'd probably like your story more if you were more about Captain America than someone who was none of that. And that's genuine criticism of your intended audience. Because your intended audience is people who like Captain America. Because you used Captain America as the draw. there's no real way to defend a 60-foot robot Captain America that shoots out I-beams that turn people into communists. That has nothing to do with Captain America. And so when someone criticizes you for saying, this is Captain America, no, that's actually completely valid criticism. But if you come out and say, hey guys, I really like the Marvelverse and all the powers in it, and here's my original character who can shoot bullets out of their forearm made of bone, and they're also, have really good regeneration, and they're an orphan. And then someone goes, well, I would like the character more if they were white. That's not valid criticism. That has nothing to do with your character. That's completely arbitrary. That's subjective taste. There's a difference there. And the difference is what you are drawing on for your idea of whatever it is you're doing. If you are shitting on a rock and someone goes, well, I would like a lot more if you drew a picture on the rock instead of just literally taking a dump of whatever you ate yesterday on it. That is valid criticism for rock art. But if someone goes, oh, well, I prefer the hexagonal style over the geometric quadratic patterning and scale that you have going on, that's subjective. You see what I mean? There is a level of objectiveness to everything, whether it's fan fiction or original creations. And that's why I don't understand at the end of the day, if you call yourself a fan, I really enjoy, let's use for example here, it's a good one to use for example here. I really enjoy, I really enjoy Naruto, right? I am a fan of Naruto. And I, as a fan of Naruto, like it when other people like Naruto, because that means more people like the thing I like, and that is good. So, when I write a story about Naruto as a fan of Naruto, the idea would be twofold. To write an interesting story that other people who like Naruto would go, wow, that's a good story about Naruto. That they would like it, but also would portray to people who aren't as much of a fan of Naruto as I am, who would also go, wow, that is a good story about Naruto. I am now interested in Naruto. Because as a fan, you like it when people like the thing you like. Right? So what you wouldn't do as a fan of Naruto is write a story where the character is named Naruto, but it's taking place in the 1980s. He's part of the mafia. Chakra doesn't exist. The hidden villages don't exist. Ninjas don't exist. He's gay, and Sasuke is a police officer on his trail. Because that doesn't describe Naruto to anyone. People wouldn't read your story and go, I am now interested in Naruto. Fans of Naruto wouldn't read your story and go, oh wow, that's a really interesting story about Naruto. That's not Naruto. That's not representing Naruto. That has nothing to do with Naruto. And that's what continuously baffles me, drunk or sober, is why would you represent the thing you supposedly enjoy and want others to enjoy in a way that isn't enjoyable to others that enjoy it or people that haven't seen it before. Like, Twilight's actually a really good example of this because of how well it played to the audience it was meant for. Twilight had a bland main character. It's such a bland main character that any girl could fantasize themselves replacing said main character and living through all of the events the main character lived through. Because of how bland and how generic it was easy for the target audience to be interested in the story. But I can guarantee you they would be a lot less interested in the story if it was some super opinionated, super unbland character that was, specifically described as like wild pink hair with facial piercings and body piercings, and she was heavily overweight, and every other character description you can ever. She was paraplegic, and everything else you could possibly ever throw in to make this a singular, unique character that no one could ever really identify with. I can guarantee you Twilight would not be as popular as it was. Because when you're writing for people to read your story, whether it's a self-published story, a company-published story, or fan fiction you're posting to a forum, you have a target audience.
Clearly, some people don't realize that one person isn't a target audience.
Well, it's not even that. You can, as readily, easily tellable. People successfully have self-insert stories that have a very distinctive main character to them that attracts a large following. A very successful large following. And these distinctive characters are because it's targeting a different audience. It's not targeting an audience that can easily replace the main character. It's targeting an audience that wants that unique character, that's looking out for that unique character so they can get the proper mental image of such a wild, outlandish adventure involving them. Cinnamon Bun is actually a great example of this. Cinnamon Bun is by Raven's Dagger, the guy who was previously famous for having 99 different worm fics and never getting past chapter 10 on any of them. But he got super popular, and he ended up using his popularity to start writing his own original story called Cinnamon Bun, which is a very unique, extremely unique main character who can't really be 100% identified with or replaced by anyone in the audience. And the whole premise is that they get a gamer power in a fantasy world. They're not an isekai. They are just a person in a fantasy world who just has the gamer power, and they're just gonna go around making friends because they grew up as this bright and cheery child. And it's really fucking popular. It's a really successful story because the writer, Raven's Dagger, knows the audience he is targeting, and he is writing specifically for that audience, and he's making an excellent story for that audience's point of view. And the result is that his story is widely popular, and the people that he is targeting really like his story. And that is what I don't comprehend, when you can call yourself a fan of something and then completely butcher what you are trying to represent in the name of being a fan of something. whether that's a specific fandom, a genre of music, or an art style, or whatever, is I cannot computate how you can declare yourself a person who is a lover of X thing and then completely butcher the representation of X thing, as almost as if you never loved it at all in the first place. What I don't get. It's the same thing. The fucking Ruby did the same exact shit as well. The writers weren't invested in it, and it went to shit. Because they tried doing, you know, this, that, and the other thing with it instead of sticking to what it was supposed to be, but the writers had a little bit of a different idea of what it was supposed to be than the guy who created it. And, well, you know, we all saw how that turned out. But, you know, this is enough being me drunk philosophically waxing on. To anyone that's still here, congratulations, you get a gold star. You just print out a gold star and just get some scotch tape and slap that onto your chest. Because goddamn, you deserve it. This is the drunk waxing philosophical hour with Sneaky Devil. We'll see you guys for more fan fiction on Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Because unfortunately, there is always more. It does always get worse.